Hey, what's up? Sorry about... I really have had computer issues today. I guess someone tried to... So, the computer went down for an update, and then when the update was over, it wanted me to log back in with my Windows account. My Windows account email. And over the last couple weeks, I had been getting these... I'll explain the story more in depth in a second. I think somebody's been trying to hack my Windows account, I guess.
What you think about when you're born into a fire. Let them burn it out. Sell them to the richest buyer. They wanna let the world decay. They tell us lies and fade away, fade away. We feel betrayed. We were raised to lose the race. Wake at the back of the pack, we kill it anyway. Listen up now, because we're never dropping out. Beat the odds, beat the big house. Our brains are bigger than the Dow. We've been thinking for ourselves, never let the truth fade away. This is bigger than ourselves, we won't let the world burn away, burn away. We feel betrayed.
Yeah, you can share the link and stuff. This isn't Patreon. This is nothing crazy. Move the Patreon video to Tuesday.
Take it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway. To blame, haters face the world's mistakes. Wake it to the back of the pack, kill it anyway.
Man, the damn that fake Instagram account of mine is fucking wilding out, dude. It's trying to add everybody. Like, it's adding fans of the show and their loved ones. It tried to add my whole family. It's been messaging my family. Hello, Patriot friend, is what it always says.
And we feel betrayed.
And it had to be impersonating someone else before. It's almost like a, we'll talk about it in a second. It's almost like a bot, like a scraper bot, I guess.
Take it to the
out to a happy birthday. Somebody sent me an email. Lou Sasso. It's his big birthday today. So happy birthday to you, Lou Sasso. Also, a guy named Nick, I think his last name started with a G. It was German or something. Very guttural noises. Nick Gear or something like that. I can't remember his name. It's his birthday as well. Lots of birthdays this month, huh? Here we go. Let's roll that intro. That beautiful bean footage.
Hey daddies, it's me, the Linda Binda from TikTok. I wanted to make this video because I wanted to thank you for watching Cold Beer Confessionals with Will Bird. I think that's just incredible. I've watched a few episodes and I'm just like very intrigued. But you know what I'm most intrigued in is Big Daddy's meat stick. I heard that it's very thick, like a good old German sausage. You know, Linda and her coochie loves that. Oh, never mind. Let's not go there. Anyways, I hope you have a good show and enjoy it as you can. There's a lot of weird things that go on, especially when it comes from the realm of Linda Bindaland. So, enjoy the show. Thanks for watching. Peace out.
Welcome, my fellow Americans. The storm is upon us. Public service announcement real quick. Someone is trying really hard to like get into my accounts and create fake accounts. So there's a fake Twitter, there's a fake Instagram, and there's like 100 fake Telegrams. Those have been around for a while.
Rob, 5,252 gifted BugJude53 a subscription.
Thank you for the gifted sub.
5,252 gifted a tier 1 sub to BugJude53. They have given 20 gift subs in the channel.
I appreciate that. Thank you for the gifted sub. Yeah, someone's trying really hard. Oh, I forgot to turn YouTube on to public. Someone's trying really hard to get into my accounts and making fake accounts. There's no telling who it is. A lot of people think it's like malicious. It's honestly probably a bot because they're kind of trying way too hard to just be like a person that wants to harm my reputation in some way. So a couple of the things that makes me think it's a bot. If you see me on Instagram, I very rarely use Instagram. My Instagram channel's tiny. I used to post on there back in the day, like Griftbuster stuff, but I haven't posted on there basically since. But there's an account with like double my size that changed their name to Cold Beer Confessional. And the reason I think it's a bot is because basically anytime that it's flipped. I need to unflip it. Anytime that I don't even know how that happened. Anytime that I post anything on Twitter or Telegram or my Facebook, it almost instantly posts on their platforms, right? The fake Instagram account within like a minute or two will post all my Telegram stuff, which is strange for sure. And I'm not exactly sure why. This must be part of the update. I guess one of my filters no longer work. I guess I had a filter where it was flipped, but it's no longer working. I'll flip it here in a second. Yeah, it's very strange. I'm almost to the point where it has to be a bot. It's happening so quick. I don't think anybody's kind of wasting their time doing all that. You know what I mean? Like that'd be a lot of, it's still flipped, a lot of wasted time. Let's do this. To like, it's like a scraper bot, right? It's scraping the thing. And when it scrapes it, it pulls it almost instantly. They've tried adding not only viewers of my show, but their followers, their family, I don't know, it's just crazy. It's just crazy the way that they're doing it, I guess. I don't know. It is happening though. So if you get a request on me on Instagram, I probably got 50 messages over the past week. It's not me. That's not my account. That's not me. There it is. That's not my account. That's not me. I'm not requesting to follow people. I'm not sending you messages saying, hello, longtime Patriot friend. Like, some of the messages are wild. I'll actually read one of them. Hold on. A couple people sent me different ones. Let's see. It would be under photos, wouldn't it? Let's see here. Oh, I can just search Instagram. So Miss Priss' husband got a follow request. Yeah, that's not me. People are like, did you send me this message? It's really weird because it's also talking about like the collapse of the banking system. That's another reason it makes me think it's a bot. They have a bunch of Trump videos. That's true. That's one sign that's not me. They're trying to sell stuff, whatever it is. They're trying to sell, like, I don't know if it's going to be crypto or something like that. It's just stupid. It's stuff that I generally wouldn't say. Now, we've seen this on Telegram a bunch. I think everybody that's semi-active on Telegram, because my Telegram group's tiny, right? You have to request to get in. I've never bought any bots. It's like a small group. People don't like me. I'm fat and I vape, and they're angry about where I live. So that's a thing. We've seen that a bunch on Telegram, but now it seems like it's moving to Instagram. I have reported it as impersonating me. You're more than welcome to report it or just block it. But they're sending out these weird messages talking about the pending financial collapse. It's just weird. I forgot to send that link to Tammy. Let me see if I can find it. I know a bunch of people sent me the messages. Hi, I'm a fan of your show, and I am a Patreon member. I've received the following request from an account which appears to be you, but I'm not sure if it's legit. If it is, no big deal. I'm just a pretty private person. Yeah, I wouldn't go out and try to follow your personal accounts anyways. One, that just seems kind of creepy to me. Here's the fake account. One, that just seems kind of creepy to me. And two, like, that makes you a target, right? I go after people. So if you're a fan of mine, it's one thing to like come comment on my stuff sometimes. It's another thing if I'm following you because I know they go through my follower list. But it's got 5,800 followers. It's following 2,000 people. Got a bunch of Trump and Biden. It even has my tagline, the handicapped companion to the cold beer confessional. This is when I was posting a bunch of stuff over there, but this is not me. This is at Cold Beer Confess, which confessions, which sometimes I use. I like to use at Cold Beer Confessional, right? That's my name. Or that's the show's name. The problem is sometimes they have a character limit on it. So there's this. But yeah, this has been messaging people, asking people, if they've heard about the pending collapse. It's a bunch. It's not me. This is not me, and the one on Twitter is not me. And I'm not out here trying to follow all you all. Why would I? You know what I mean? I don't even use my Instagram. Let's see if I can go to my profile. It's got like 1,000 followers or 2,000. 271. It doesn't even have 2,000. It's got 200. Maybe I was thinking about Twitter. But yeah, this is mine. There aren't a bunch of Trump photos. There's stuff like, if this is the only way I know how to reach you because you got me blocked the other way, like I tag Nino and stuff like this. So Nino posted this photo, George Soros and DeSantis. So I posted one and Nino sitting on his lap. Somebody made that for me, which I thought was funny. But this is mine. It's only got like 200 followers. That's mine. But they have the same Cold Beer Confessional, video creator, handicapped companion to Cold Beer Confessional. It's got my website on it. It's just, I don't know. It's silly. I don't know what they think they're going to accomplish. Most people know that I'm not trying to sell them some type of banking scam or crypto, right? I would assume by now. The only reason I have an Instagram account is because my personal account was banned. And so I made the account for the show. And I did post on it some Griftbuster stuff. Like back in the day, there's some Ryan Upchurch stuff, Johnny Gobble. This is some pretty funny memes that other people made. Hell, I didn't even make these memes. Patreon stuff. There's a video of Phil. I don't even know what some of these are. That's the guy that I was supposed to be that actually died in 2021. Look, I don't mind you dropping the receipts on me or whatever you call it, but you could have at least told me that I was dead. I didn't even have a chance to say goodbye. That's a guy that they think I'm a drug dealer. They think I'm a drug dealer out of Nashville. Nobody does any research anymore. But all of this stuff is very old. Oh, there's an awesome picture of Ollie. All of this stuff is very old. This was one of the first videos I ever made. How you like that fridge
Clinton Wright
magnet?
just resubscribed for 9 months. Cold beer coin backed by copper. Cold beer coin
Thank you.
backed
Cold
by
beer
copper.
coin backed by copper. Of course, copper is the gold of the future. That's what you always hear me say. That you always hear me say copper is the gold of the future. So that's just not me. Now, there's also been a separate attempt. Now, I don't know if this is like scammers too, or if this is malicious. I have no idea. But for the last couple weeks, I've been getting emails that say, here is your temporary code to sign in to your, the temporary code you requested to sign into your Microsoft account. And I'm like, well, I didn't request this code. So I always ask my son, because he uses my Game Pass and stuff, and he doesn't know my password. I have to log him in, but he's tried to guess it before. So I always ask my son, and he's like, oh, no, I haven't been doing it. Actually, he's grounded for the computer right now until he gets his grades up. So I've been getting those for like the last couple of weeks. And it says right in the email, it says, if you did not request this code, don't worry, right? So I didn't worry. It says, if you do not request this code, don't worry. And I even went to validate it to make sure it wasn't some type of scam where, like, if you click on the link saying, I didn't request this or whatever, that they, like, steal your information. You're not actually going to Microsoft. You're going to, like, so I went in and got on my Microsoft account for my phone and saw somebody was requesting one-time passwords. It didn't show me where their account was coming from, but they were requesting one-time passwords to sign into my Microsoft account. I have no idea why. So today, when I go to get on my computer, there's like I wanted to update my Chrome. So there was like an update for Google Chrome browser that I use. And it said update, whatever. And I've skipped like the last 3. So I was like, I better update it, because we've been getting a lot of those black screens. If you remember, the browser's been going black lately while I'm streaming. So I thought, I'll update it. Well, when I updated it, it said to complete the update, you have to restart your computer. So I restarted my computer. Well, there was a pending Microsoft update. So when it did the Microsoft update and went to come back online, before I got to like where you put your PIN or your password or whatever in to get into Windows, it asked me to log into my Microsoft account. So I went to log in, and it said that I had reached the maximum number of attempts to try to log in. So I couldn't log in. I had to email Microsoft from my phone. That wasn't quick enough. It was taking them like 20 fucking minutes to answer my email. There was no live chat feature for my phone. So I finally got a number to call, talk to somebody in India, and they got me back into my account. So I'm in my account now, but apparently you can request it a one-time password so many times that even though it tells you not to worry, if you don't worry about it and they request 30 of them or whatever they've been doing, it'll still log you out and you can't log back in. So that's the reason the show's late. That's the reason it took me a while to get on. That's the reason we pushed the upper tier, $7 and up Patreon show will be Saturday. And I promise I'll put that together, even if it's like I do a show during the day and do a show at night. We'll do something. But we'll get an upper tier Patreon show on Saturday. So if you're a patron, sorry about that. I know it's supposed to be tonight. I apologize, but we'll be back Saturday, and then we'll get back on schedule. Wasn't someone trying to get into Phil's account recently? Yes. Well, at least he posted that. He posted emails that, somebody was trying to log into his account, which all of my stuff is 2FA, right? I'm not dumb enough to come in here and not do two-factor authentication. And I even mix it up. Some of my two-factor authentications through my email. Some of them are through partner email accounts. I have multiple email accounts, and some of them are through my phone. So if they wanted to get all my accounts, they would have to break into the account or attempt to break into the account. And then for two-factor authentication, they'd have to have access to multiple email accounts, as well as my phone. They'd have to clone my phone and my SIM and shit. So, which is possible. I'm not saying it's impossible. I'm not trying to dare anybody to do it, but it's going to be a lot harder. Also, I apparently got called out in the Good Line chat here by Dawn. So Dawn says, oh, let me move this over here. I forgot I rebooted my computer. Boom. That should put it there and then full screen. Dawn says, I don't know what this was. It just says, it's not your job, little P. I don't know. It says, so I will reply to this. Will Bird, I'm surprised that you have not told your audience yet that Phil is an affinity scammer. Okay. That was not hard to figure out. We do help victims every day who have been scammed by the junk gold industry. I don't know if this was in response to me asking them to have a look, seriously, like that little form letter. If that's what you're going to do, if you're going to do a form letter, have somebody better than me. I'm not even saying, oh, Nick wrote this and he's dumb, or so-and-so wrote this in a dump. You need someone who does this professionally, or a proofreading, especially if you're doing a form letter. The last thing you want to do is not only a form letter. I think everybody should write their own individual letter with just maybe some points highlighted. But if you're going to do a form letter, it has to be typed out correctly. There can't be mispunctuation or misspelled words or run-on sentences. It makes everybody just look like they did it, right? Like everybody did this and everybody made the same mistakes. It looks silly. So have someone who majored in English or English education, or even an English teacher. I'm sure you can find one. If you don't want to pay, you can get on Fiverr, and for like probably $2 or $3, that later was just a couple pages, get somebody to proofread it. That was my post. I don't know if it's in response to that or not, but did you guys see it?
Incoming dono clip.
Hold on. We'll get that dono clip in just a second. If one of the mods wants to review it, I'll play it. Uh-oh.
Michaela Robertson 81 gifted Suze Knight a subscription.
Thank you.
Michaela Robertson 81 gifted a tier 1 sub to Suze Knight.
Yeah,
they have given
GPT write it.
25 gift subs in the channel.
You could thank you very much for the gifted sub. You could copy all this and paste it into Chat GPT and ask them to correct it. There's just missing punctuation. It says, I'm writing, dear SEC or FBI, I am writing to you to alert you in a matter regarding potential criminal activity of an individual. There should be a bunch of commas here. Of an individual named, comma, Phil Godlewski. There's like 4 commas missing in the opening sentence. Okay? All these are prepositional phrases. They need to have commas around them. The evidence I have seen leads me to believe that he is preying upon vulnerable individuals, specifically the elderly. There needs to be a comma after elderly, for their savings and retirement funds. Mr. Godlewski constructs several social media channels, i.e. Telegram, and promotes himself as someone with a military intelligence background and close contacts to public figures, comma, in order to gain trust among the people who follow him. There's like 3 or 4 missing commas there. It is important to state, comma, that I believe Mr. Godlewski is still on probation for check fraud. Like, there's just have somebody proofread it. I'm not even saying that I'm the person. Like, I like to think that I know more about English than I do. But there's like professional people that do this. Chat GPT can do it. I'm sure there's a web page that you can do like proofread my paper and throw it up there and it'll probably correct it. There's an extension on Google called Grammarly. And I think the pro version does it. First of all, it keeps you from misspelling words. Second of all, the pro version does punctuation and stuff. It'll add in commas. It'll add in semicolons. If you don't know how to use a semicolon or a colon, it'll do all that. So I don't know if this is in response to that, but back to it. I'm surprised that you have not told your audience yet that Phil is an affinity scammer. That was not hard to figure out. I bet it wasn't. We do help victims every day who have been scammed by the junk gold industry. This isn't, so junk gold and junk silver is a specific thing, and it's not this. Junk gold and junk silver is gold and or silver that is either scrapped out of parts or computers or whatever, or that is in coins that is not 99.9% pure. That's what junk gold and junk silver is. So what he's selling is not junk gold and junk silver. That's a very specific type of precious metal, is junk silver, junk gold. Like old coins that have silver in them that are not up to like 99.9% or whatever, and they're not collectible for any other reason. They're called junk silver. That's what we do at the den. Okay. That's what we do at the den. Okay. We take that very seriously. I understand that you warn people every day of scammers, and it is your goal also. Yeah, a lot of times. Please dig into gold scams and warn your audience. Help us protect our seniors. Maybe warning will save someone from getting scammed. Nick posted a wonderful video by a whistleblower. Please check it out and have a great day. Sincerely, Don. I don't know. I appreciate the tip, I guess, or the chastising, whatever it is. But I was doing this before you were even on Telegram. Over a year ago, I had a show about how the entire MAGA movement, including Phil, including Michael and Dale and all these other people that jumped on, Rudy Giuliani, and even Trump, were doing an affinity scam. And I used this website as reference for it when I explained it to my audience and showed them this exact website with this highlighted portion. Uh-oh, moved it too far.
Anonymous gifted Trump Girl for you a subscription. An
Thank you.
anonymous user gifted a tier 1 sub to Trump Girl for you.
This is from Investopedia, which is a pretty, thank you for the gifted sub, which is a pretty reliable, resource, I think. Like, they teach you about investing, they teach you about schemes, scams, frauds, all that stuff. And it says, what is an affinity fraud? What is affinity fraud? It says affinity fraud is a type of investment fraud in which a con artist targets members of an identifiable group based on things such as race, age, religion, etc. The fraudster either is or pretends to be a member of the group. So this is when, I don't know if you guys remember the last video that I showed you about this, but it was this guy talking about how the gold industry right now, I just showed this a week ago. This shows you, like, they have no idea what I do, but they love to hop online and say, you didn't do this, you're not doing that, you're not doing this good enough, which is weird. But I just showed this, and this guy says what they're doing is they're all pretending that we're Republicans, we hate Joe Biden, we hate, we think that Joe Biden's destroying the country. Let's all invest in gold, right? Right? He even talks about some of the companies that have been busted for this. Let me see.
Attorney General.
He reads this article.
Right wing, and to keep them from crippling their finances. So let's start with the article. So this article is by the Washington Post saying
how right-wing news powers the gold IRA industry. Again, saying, hey, aren't we all conservatives? Don't we all hate Joe Biden? Then we all should invest in gold and silver.
How right-wing news powers the gold IRA industry.
This is less than a week ago I showed this.
Post is not right-wing or conservative, and so they are trying to say that the news organizations on the right-wing or conservative side are taking advantage of the people that watch them. And I got to say, they are making a very good point here.
They don't have to watch my show. Like,
advertised on.
I don't care if these people watch my show or not. That's fine. You don't have to watch it. You don't have to like it. A lot of people don't like that I curse. Somebody today posted a comment. It was like, I could watch it if you wouldn't say the F word so many times. It's just not for you. That's fine. All that's fine. Right? It's not for you. There's probably someone that covers it better than me that curses less, and that's for you. But it wouldn't be for me. Right? It's just different people. You don't have to watch my show. You don't have to follow me on social media. But it seems kind of weird if you're not going to know what I'm doing and what I've been doing to hop on social media and say, you haven't been doing this, you should do this. I know this is your goal, but why don't you do that? Well, I did do it.
On Fox News, and they warn their viewers to protect their retirement savings from a looming pension crisis and dollar collapse. And so,
again, this is another part of, hey, we're all Republicans. We know Biden's destroying the economy. There's going to be a pension crisis, and there's going to be a dollar collapse. The same way Phil does it, the same way that fucking all the Trump Jr. does it. All of them do it.
they're always trying to sell fear to these skewed older people who watch these news programs, you know, senior citizens and very elderly people in some cases. And so it goes on to say how this guy, Terry White, a disabled retiree from New York, was interested from seeing these ads. And in 2018, he invested $174,000 in coins, according to a lawsuit.
I also pointed out what I think I haven't seen. Now, I'm not saying for sure, but I haven't seen anybody else point out that Phil claims that Goldco is investing your money in collectible coins. It is illegal through the federal government to take an IRA and invest in any collectibles. That includes paintings or baseball cards or collectible golds. So the answer can't be collectibles. That's what you should be calling out. The answer is not allowed to be collectibles when he's talking about his IRA. Now, they can mint their own coins and say, well, because we minted our own coin and we only minted 1,000 of them, this 1 ounce is worth $300 instead of $30. They can do that, but they specifically can't invest in anything in the collectibles market. It's illegal.
By the New York Attorney General, only later to learn that Lear charged a 33% commission. So it says White, who's
investment grade. Yeah, that's some of the words they use to get around it. They're not. If you call up Goldco and they tell you that it's collectible, you better be recording that line. You might have to tell them ahead of time, but they'll say things like it's investment grade or higher quality, or we ensure the quality because we mint our own coins. They'll never use the word collectible because that's illegal.
70 years old, lost nearly $80,000 over several transactions, putting an enormous strain on his finances, his wife said, and blamed Fox for their...
So the reason they're blaming Fox News is because Fox News has these ads and these ad breaks and these people who support this that are claiming like collapse is coming. We hate Biden. Biden's destroying the economy. So we should all band together because we know this because we're Republicans. And when we band together, we can do all this.
Predicament. She says they're negligent, and White said he thought Fox wouldn't take a commercial like that unless it was legitimate. Well, he knows better now, doesn't he? So it says the legitimacy of this gold retirement investment industry is the subject of numerous lawsuits, including allegations of fraud by federal and state regulators against Lear and other companies. And it says they spend millions of...
These are some other companies that have been sued, and some of them have been shut down. This is also, I think it mentions this article, typically when one company gets shut down, if no one goes to jail over it, or whoever doesn't go to jail over it, they go immediately to another company. I even think 7K was founded, when we were doing 7K research, it was founded from some people who were part of a different company. At least one of the founders or one of the C-suite or something. It was a guy who got run off from a different gold collection company or whatever.
Dollars a year on Fox, Newsmax, and other conservative outlets advertising these gold IRAs and other things. And they say in the past decade, more than 30 customers in 20 states have sued a dozen gold IRA companies, including Lear. And federal regulators have sued 4 companies, 2 in the past year alone, claiming investors were systematically charged as much as triple the coin's value.
Triple the coin's value. Now we're talking about melt value versus they're going to call it investment grade, like Beyond the Mission said. They're gonna say a bunch of weird shit about it. Higher quality, we mint it ourselves so we can guarantee. Yeah, you could go to a pawn shop and buy any silver, but do you know what you're buying? We mint it ourselves, so we know how many there are. We know what quality they're at. We know how much they're worth, kind of deal is what they're going to say. Same thing with 7K. The reason 7K is so backwards is 7K is set up for beginners, new people who don't know how to start stacking silver. They don't know about buying silver. They don't know about collectible coins. They don't know about any of that, right? But yet the company pushes their most highly collectible, most valuable coins on their autosaver, right? Limited edition, graded coins. The person who should be buying coins like that, limited edition, graded, special edition, limited runs, is someone who's well-versed in buying silver. But that person that's well-versed in buying silver is never going to sign up for a buying club. So what they're selling you, they're signing up new people to silver, and they're selling a product that should be sold to longtime collectors who know what they're doing. So they're backwards because they're longtime collectors are never going to sign up for 7K, and you don't know what a good collector coin is or what you're looking for or the grading or whatever, right? That's why 7K is set up so backwards. If you're just starting out and stacking silver, you should be buying bullion, right? For spot price plus whatever, a small premium, a couple bucks. Right, if spot price is 23, maybe you're getting them for 26, 27, 28. That's what you should be buying until you know a little bit about the market and then see if you want to do collectibles. But that's not what they sell you. They do sell bullion, but it doesn't count towards your points, towards the MLM part of it. It doesn't work on autosaver that way.
Now, none of these cases have gone to trial. Some are still pending. Some have been settled. Some have been sent to arbitration where the companies have not admitted any wrongdoing. And none of them.
One of our pawn shops says if they buy silver or gold from individuals, they have to hold it for 10 days. Yeah, because there's a lot of theft around it. Our local pawn shops hold, if you sell silver or gold, especially like jewelry, or maybe it's just weird, like, you know, you're not a collector, but you bring in a bunch of collector coins that look like they come straight out of someone's safe, or they'll hold it even longer. But I guess it's to give the police time to come around and look before they sell it off or melt it down. Once it's melted down, the evidence is kind of like, I
don't believe have been charged criminally. So technically,
the lady that works at our local silver gold pawn, it's like a silver and gold place. They have rings and everything. It's like a jewelry store, but they also do a little bit of pawn. The one I go to, she says she takes real in-depth pictures. There's like a form they fill out that has like your name, a picture of your driver's license, blah, blah, blah. And even if they're going to melt it down, because some people might not know their shit was stolen for 6 months, you know, if they don't look at it all the time, they'll take real high quality, in-depth pictures and shit, and then they'll go and melt it down. That way they still have a record of it.
They're not doing.
I don't know if they all do that, but
sell a coin for a whole lot of money. If somebody's willing to buy it, it's not illegal to charge a big markup as long as it's disclosed. Now, I don't know. Maybe there's some trickery with how they disclose a 33% markup where the person still goes through with the deal. I don't know. And
so the markup is just disclosed, just like Beyond the Mission said. This is investment grade. This is higher quality. We mint it ourselves. It's a limited run. We know what it's worth. We're not going to rip you off, kind of deal.
Newsmax said that the network does not see allegations against.
Anyways, I just covered all this last week, the stuff that I've been called out for. So there's that. I don't want to watch the video again, but like, I get it. You think I don't? I guess I'm not doing the right thing, and you guys are. And I guess you're upset because I told you to have your stuff proofread. I got a guy on Instagram. I buy silver and gold for real, or are you just making a joke? Because that sounds almost like a scam. But I did buy some silver from a YouTuber, some like artisan pours. Yeah, I've been doing this. Thanks for the tip or the correction or whatever it was, Don. But I've kind of already been doing that. Let's see what else we got. Bert made a prediction. I'll have to sign into a different account. Hold on. Oh, first of all, the baby. So there's been a couple updates of the baby. I'll just read you what my nephew sent me over the last couple days because I haven't given you guys an update. I've been texting him every morning just to see. And let's see. We went over there to see him. 3rd floor down the hall. Okay, blah, blah, blah. He is doing better today, and the blue light is back on him as well. Also, he is starting to open his eyes a little bit. He is also on only 35% oxygen, which is down. Junior at Paramount Time. Oh, okay. I said, awesome. I said, and then I asked him the next day, and he said, Jesse had an okay night. He kept dropping his O2, so they bumped him back up to 50% oxygen. But I've already brought him down this morning back to 40%. They said he will fluctuate with oxygen. It comes and goes. His blood gases came back okay. His bilirubin, is that what you guys told me to call it? Went back up a little, so he's back on the blue light. But that's expected. They told us to expect that. They took a chest x-rays this morning because he had some red tinge on his vent tube. They want to make sure he's not like wearing his vent tube isn't like wearing a spot in his throat or making him bleed. Because there was a red tinge in his vent tube. His 7-day head ultrasound came back clear, which is great. They just finished an echo on him. When we get the results back, we will let you all know. His 3 a.m. weight was 1,150 grams.
Merbird gifted the _real_Nick Farner _ a subscription. Merbird gifted a tier 1 sub to the _real_Nick Farner _
Thank you very much.
They have given 16 gift subs in
That's
the channel.
basically 1,150 grams is 2.5 pounds. So he's about 2.5 pounds now. His 3 a.m. weight was 1,150 grams. And then today, I think I was running behind a little bit. I said, I just asked him if he's good with the baby, good financially, and if they were good. And he said, yes, baby is doing great. We're good financially. Thanks for the help with the GoFundMe. And we were just wore out. And I said, okay, get some rest. So the baby seems to be doing well. I was just looking at her page. Let me see if she's updated it lately. But thank you guys for supporting the GoFundMe. I think they're over $7,000 now. So that was very generous. Thank you for that. I appreciate it. She says, I want to say thank you to all who share and donate. We appreciate everything, especially the prayers. And they shared a couple posts. I think you've already seen most of these pictures. Here's one you probably haven't seen. This is something else that bothered me about the damn, on the damn fake Instagram and fake Twitter. Like, as soon as I post these pictures, if I post these pictures on Telegram, they scrape them and put them up. So that's Nick there. I can tell by his tattoo. And Jesse holding on. He's touching his foot, and he's holding on to his finger there. There's a glare, obviously, but there you go. He's doing well, so thank you guys for donating. Hopefully Nick can be there more often without having to worry about going back to work so soon, now that they've got a little bit of a buffer through the GoFundMe. The last update she posted was 12 hours ago, and it says, we had some bumps yesterday. He kept wanting to drop in his O2, which made him have to go up to his oxygen at almost 80%, all the way up to 80%. This is nothing unexpected. They said he will fluctuate daily on his oxygen, and they'll keep a close eye on it. His x-ray yesterday showed that some fluid is around his lungs, so they started him on some Lasix to help him pee it out, which he has been using a diaper for pee and poop, so that's good. He's doing okay with that. They do not think he has an infection, which is great. So they started him on steroids and will continue to check his lungs. His blood gases are looking better. Today, they are going to try to take him off the blue light. He's up to 9 mLs of breast milk. So they've got this little thing in there and a little drip line, and they're still giving him breast milk, which is good. And apparently he's up to 9 mLs every time he feeds. It's almost like a little IV kind of thing. And it's almost like a little IV that just drips down onto him. It was neat to see. And he's doing good with that. His weight is now 1,150 grams, like I just told you, 2.5 pounds. The nurses told us at 9 a.m. rounds, his eyes were even opening. Well, Daddy said 2 words, and they opened up, and Nick got to see them. Please continue to pray. So Nick said something to him when he walked back there, and he opened his eyes again. Please continue to pray for our boy. God has his hands wrapped around him for sure. And then this is the image that she posted with that story. Black and white image. When I saw him, and most of the pictures I've saw him, they've had a mask over his eyes, and they're really crusty and stuff. But this image right here, it looks like they don't have the mask on. So that's good. They usually go in there and irrigate them and get all the gunk and stuff out of them. So there you go. Believe it or not, if you want to talk about how this ties back into the to the world of streaming, they actually had some Ryan Upchurch tickets they got rid of. They were supposed to go see Ryan Upchurch down at Cotton Eye Joe's, which is down in Knoxville. And I think they ended up having to sell them, obviously, because they got bigger fish to fry right now. But there you go. We cover Ryan Upchurch sometimes. Either way, thank you guys for supporting that and being part of that. I do appreciate it. Thank you. I saw a donation come through. I appreciate it. Thank you for the donation. That's the baby update. That is the I've been called out update. What else do we have? This post, which I thought was very interesting. I guess this has to do with the title. We're not going to get too in depth. There's some stuff I want to share on Patreon about the all-male review team. That's what I started calling them. And I'll get the dono clip. That's where I'm headed. And then we'll cover this post at least. The title was just to see how many people we could get here. We will talk about it a little bit, but not a ton. Here you go. Y'all are nuts. Y'all are nuts.
And sometimes when they touch, Nick and Phildo can be too much. And we have to roll our eyes and hide.
That's right. Sometimes when they touch. Sometimes when they're too much. Uh-oh. Y'all are nuts tip. Thank you very much. Oh, that was the tip that just came through. Thank you. I saw the payment before it processed, I guess. Thank you very much for that. Thank you for the donation. 16 subs in the channel. So this post I thought was interesting. This is a Twitter post that I just reposted. I shared it over on, if you saw Telegram. Uh-oh, it opened twice. So Nick Alvear said something that I agree with. I mostly agree with. And that post says, let me make it easy for you. You want to know who is a grifter? Anyone selling gold, period. These are so-called truthers. Ignore the fact that they affiliate for an unregulated metals company that takes 50 to 60% of people's life savings. They don't see anything wrong with it. To continue the grift and to enrich their lives while stealing the life savings of others is a completely disgusting grift. I agree, 100%. Here is a solid fuck you. Even if I know you and we are friends, I'll still love you in every other department. But to hijack this movement and the fears caused from uncertainty, fuck you. You know who you are. Don't rip people off. Be better than that. So we'll open that in a new link and watch that in a second. That's the video I think that Don was talking about. But if we take that and go look at some of Nick's sidekicks, we end up with this. So this is Dr. Z's link tree. The first couple of things listed are the Trumpinator teddy bear and the Trumpinator bobblehead. And if you click on his Twitter account, it goes here. I can show you the link tree in a second. But if you click on his Twitter account, it goes back to his Twitter. Not a real doctor, but neither is Fauci. Pedo hunter, patriot. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, what's that last link say? It says, protect your wealth, get silver. Protect your wealth. YouTube started running ads as well. Ads during the live stream if I monetize my video. Protect your wealth, get silver, which is interesting. Now, I will be 100% honest and as fair as I can about this. This link is not active now. This link is not active now, but it was, and it had a custom link to go to. When you click on it, it would go to this page. Kirk Elliott. Who else sells Kirk Elliott? Well, a bunch of people. One of them being Scott McKay, and I'm almost positive that's where Dr. Z got hooked up with this because he was the one chasing around Scott McKay on the tour. He was a roadie or something and followed Scott McKay around the United States on tour. And this goes to Kirk Elliott. It would actually go to kirkelliott.com/Dr. Z. He had an affiliate link. That's an affiliate link that tracks a cookie. And if they sign up through your link, then you get an affiliate fee. He is an affiliate was an affiliate for Kirk Elliott. And it says, can I invest in precious metals with a retirement account? This is for IRAs. Yes, options may include traditional, Roth, simple, SEP, or inherited IRAs, 401ks, TSPs, thrift savings plans, or other employee-sponsored plans. We encourage anyone looking into these plans to call our office. What is a self-directed IRA? A self-directed IRA is exactly like any other IRA with one major difference. You get to choose where your IRA funds will be invested rather than just accepting whatever the IRA trustee or custodian offers. This gives you greater flexibility because you can choose precious metals, stocks, bonds, CDs, mutual funds, government obligations, and other investments. Can I contribute bullion or coins I already own into a self-directed IRA? No. All contributions must be made in cash, except in the case of transfers and rollovers. Are there storage and maintenance fees for a precious metals IRA? There is a nominal fee for safely storing and insuring your precious metals IRA. How safe is a storage facility where my precious metals will be stored? We have vetted and chosen to work exclusively with Texas Precious Metals Depository. You can find more information about the Texas Precious Metals Depository here. What is the difference between a traditional and a Roth IRA? Anyone who is disqualified or anyone who has qualified earned income can contribute to an IRA each year. Depending on your income, marital status, and participation in the employer's plan, your contribution to a traditional IRA may be deductible. Contributions to a Roth IRA are never deductible, and then it continues on. So basically, a part of the all-mail review, Dr. Z was also selling this. Was that a big issue between you and Dr. Z? Did you set him down and say, "Hey, man, you were grifting then. You were a grifter then. I see that your link's no longer valid, but how long has that been over for? How many people did you invest? How much did you make back in affiliate fees? What were the fees that they were charging?" I'll tell you right now, maybe Kirk Elliott isn't as bad as Goldco. I don't know what their fee schedule is. I know that he was an affiliate making money the way you described in your exact post. But Goldco is partnered with Rumble. So a lot of the big Rumble streamers that I have no idea if this has anything to do with Phil, but a lot of the big Rumble streamers are not only getting affiliate fees, but they're being paid to read Goldco ads. You can contact Rumble's advertising department. That's what I did. So I guess maybe you have an issue with Rumble as well. If your issues with Rumble, are you still streaming to Rumble? Are you still hosting videos on Rumble? Is that going to be your platform of choice? Because they support Goldco as well, and Goldco seems to be the enemy of the people, and it denotes a grifter. So are we shutting down Rumble accounts? Are we boycotting Rumble? Is that something we're doing? Are they grifting? Should we no longer participate there? Because that seems to be your main platform now is Rumble, correct? Other than goodline.tv or Twitter or whatever your other platform is? Are we boycotting Rumble? If Rumble is helping people get not only paid and an ad fee to read an ad, but also they are helping people set up affiliate accounts to get a percentage of people rolling over their IRA. Is Rumble now guilty? Is that something that we need to take up with Rumble, or maybe move from Rumble, maybe protest Rumble, boycott Rumble, get away from Rumble? Hell, the president's son, Don Jr., has a deal with Goldco. Is that somebody we no longer trust? Is he a grifter? Is he grifting for his dad? I'm almost certain that he got his through Rumble as well. Let's go see if we can find that, actually. Uh-oh, that's not Rumble. That's Ruble. You'd think a bunch of porn didn't pop up. Rumble. What? Why did my M not go in? That's Ruble again. Rumble.com. I forget what his channel is, but we can see if we can find it. The verified 1.38 million follower. Let's see. I know it was on his old videos. Let's see if it's on his current videos. It was even in his description. Public Squares, friends, Rumble chat. It doesn't look like it's in his description of his current video. Let's see if he says it. What his first Rumble stream he did was all brought to you by Goldco. It had like a 30-second ad break about Goldco in it. I wonder if this one does.
Just a couple of hours away from Joe Biden's State of the Union. I have a feeling Biden is going to try to explain things that are rapid, responsible.
I'm sure he has multiple sponsors, right? It's not only Goldco.
So we'll have some fun with that one. We're also going to be joined tonight by two incredible guests. We're going to have Tuesday, Rockstar, Jewel, and Now episode. Okay, remember you can also get triggered. Subscribe to this place. So check out MX. You can see everything. And we'll actually show you minute by minute news where you can get mainstream news without.
Oh, MXM minute by minute news.
You can see everything. And we'll actually show you even the left wing stuff, and you can compare and contrast. And it's not like Google search where you get 400 truth out there. So let's start by delivering a little reality. Don't just show straight. Miles an hour. The insanity won't.
We're going to jump through this and see if he's still on Goldco or not.
Joe Biden's awful presidency. And it's not just Joe Biden, folks. This is Democrat policy. The National Guard to secure New York City subway.
I would say that was probably his only ad read. If I had to guess, but we'll look.
Sometimes you would say things you didn't want to say. I guess I should clear my mind a little bit.
Question is, can we make America great again and just responsible?
Will Biden actually survive for 4 more years in office? Will he survive if he's president for 4 more years? Will we? I mean, what's going on?
We didn't have that opportunity in 17 and 18 because we had a bunch of rhinos that were blocking President Trump every step of the way, as you know.
Yeah. What do you expect to hear tonight from Joe Biden's State of the Union? I mean, you're around there. Yeah, we did a bunch.
Sorry, I'm trying to scan down the bottom and see if he's got a Goldco ad in here somewhere.
really working class Americans done. You have people who are barely getting by, that are now getting by with credit cards. Credit card debt.
I know he's got a link. His link is literally goldco.com/Don Jr.
And quite frankly, guys are demasculated when they have to tell their wives and kids that they can't get the large cereal box because they just can't afford it. They have to get the white bread instead of the hamburger buns because they can't afford it, even though they've done everything that they're supposed to do. They work hard, they go to work.
Hamburger buns are expensive, bro.
Millions of dollars. The house illegal
I think inflation's coming down. It doesn't make as much news, and it doesn't affect our brains in the same way when it comes down. But I believe it's coming down, whether we feel it or not.
Obvious, right? I mean, they literally, there's money.
I've seen it at the grocery store at least, and the numbers seem to support that.
But the fact is
It
that
doesn't look like there's a Goldco ad here.
Appreciate it, guys. Check out Matt Boyle. Listen to him on the radio. Obviously, follow Breitbart. I'm sure you all do. Really appreciate having you on, Matt. Look forward to being back on your show sometime soon. And I'm sure we'll be talking.
Wow, that guy looks 25 and also 54. Look at that guy. I bake my own buns. That's good. I butter my own bread.
In the not too distant future, buddy. Thanks for being here. Guys, I got to address one of the things I keep seeing coming up in the live chat over here. People are saying, Don, you look so tired. I am. Okay, I am. I don't like doing a fundraiser for my dad there. And, you know, it's money for my but I really good talk. Like the guest was there. Don't call me still.
I wonder if Trump's ever read a Goldco ad.
Yes, I got you know, at publicsquare.com. Go there. Get tech cancellation. Rumble's going to do their own cloud. Friends.rumble.cloud. Sign up today. Protect yourself against big tech cancellation. Rumble.
Go to friends.rumble.cloud. What is friends.rumble.cloud?
Businesses. Support them. This is about supporting small business. Pull it up in your browser right now, publicsquare.com. Also, check out friends.rumble.cloud. Sign up today. Protect yourself against big tech cancellation. Rumble's going to do their own cloud. You won't be dependent on Amazon. We know how they feel about conservatives. This is a no-brainer. So between Public Square, Rumble Cloud, friends.rumble.cloud, get there, sign up. This spring going to be big, and we're going to divest from being trapped by the leftists at big corporate around America. So
I think we watched his first show, didn't we?
Doing that, we can vote with our wallets. Okay, go support those businesses. Check them out. You know, at Public Square again. You can find the other businesses. Find the.
It says Rumble Cloud promises to eliminate Rumble Cloud promises to eliminate lock-in, inflated pricing, runaway. Oh, so it's just cloud storage that Rumble offers instead of Amazon or somewhere else.
Your neighborhood that actually shares your values. Put their kid through, you know, I don't know, soccer practice, whatever it is, as opposed to going to Starbucks and having your money weaponized against you. Seems like a no-brainer. I'm going to run over to locals real quickly. Do the AMA over there. So if you're on locals, go check that out. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Hit the like button. I see how many people are watching. I don't see the same number of likes. It's pretty easy. Takes 2 seconds. Go do that. And then I got to take my daughter to dinner. She called last minute, wanted to grab dinner with dad. Doesn't happen all that often. So I'm going to be quick on locals, but I will go there because I said I would. So you guys be good. Have a great one, and I will talk to you on Monday.
Let's see if we can find his first show. I remember watching it. It shouldn't be that hard to find. Sponsored by Goldco. That's exactly what we need. Are we now against, oh God, what is that one? Text Trump. Look at this ad. If this isn't selling overpriced gold, I don't know what the fuck is. Trump speech special. Free gold coin on qualifying orders. Text Trump to 65532 from American something.
Guys, as we watch our country, our economy.
That was his saver on his screen for the. It was his thumbnail.
And you'll love it.
It wasn't an ad. That was his.
Distract many and the damage Joe Biden has done to our country. Put the car away and drive back.
Was it Newsmax or was it Goldco that did it? It's his thumbnail. I wonder if that's from the video or not.
All the other things they can do. But he wanted to go all electric because he wants to save our country, wants to save the atmosphere. And he called me, he said, I'm exhausted. Why? He said, this damn trip took me forever. I'd drive for 2 hours and then I'd have to have my car charged. And in 2 cases, I couldn't find a place to charge it, but even if I could, it took me more time to charge the damn car than I could spend in it driving. In California, you see what's happening there where they're going all electric cars. Number one, people can't afford them. Number two, the batteries are made of the gasoline.
Oh, it's his first episode of Triggered Podcast.
We have it all right. Controls the Congo.
Thanks, what we're looking for.
We play right into their hands. You see where I'm getting a lot of great press because I told Germany, don't make a deal with Russia on the pipeline. And they said, oh, that's so funny. I actually
because I'm too far back. I need the first episode of Triggered, the podcast.
I sent Angela Merkel, a white flag of surrender.
Angela.
Donald, but why
I said Angela.
I said, Angela.
This is great.
Because you're going to surrender. 75% of your energy is coming from Russia. If you look back over the decades, Russia and Germany haven't done too well together.
Triggered episode 4, Triggered episode 2.
Just turn off Nord Stream 2. And Angela, You're not going to be able to defend yourselves.
Is this the first episode? No.
About 2 years
Triggered
ago.
episode 1.
The only thing, I never thought it was going to happen this fast, and now they're giving me great. Remember, I made the speech at the United Nations.
I am very
and
humbly
the German delegation was all smiling.
Oh, God, we got Inception here.
They're not smiling
These
now.
new
Trumpception.
are taking
They're
the
not
country by
smiling.
storm. Are you tired of buying a new pair of glasses?
I said Angela. I said Angela. I said, Angela, give me some gold.
Right. That's just the way the universe works.
This is being powered by X right now, I should just say.
Yeah, no, exactly. So, and he's not censoring us.
No.
In fact, he's...
There you go. The very first episode of Donald Trump's Triggered podcast. Are we boycotting him now, Nick? I'm just trying to make a list of people who you now call a grifter because they're selling gold through the exact same company that Phil is. This says hashtag Goldco partner. Learn how to diversify your retirement account with precious metals. Click here, goldco.com/Don Jr. Is that something we're doing? This is Don Jr.'s inaugural show, Triggered, episode 1 of his podcast on January 23rd of this year. Is this something we're doing? Oh, when they all got it. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I'll grab it.
Well, guys, welcome to Triggered with Don Jr.
I'll get it, Michael.
I'm so excited to be here with you guys. This is.
I just read this story the other day.
Actually, strangely enough, probably the first time I've been actually nervous in a long.
The rampant drug use in Trump's White House, according to a Pentagon, it's pro-vigil. According to a Pentagon report, the White House pharmacy under Trump dispensed huge quantities of controlled substances, including Xanax, Ambien, and Provigil, often to ineligible patients. The Onion reveals what happened when staff reportedly used copious amounts of speed, sedatives, and alcohol to deal with stress of the job. Well, that's from the Washington Post. Here we go. Provigil was the name of it. I'm getting it from the Washington Post. The Onion was going to make a joke about it, even though the headlines are out. I'm getting it from the Washington Post now. They were getting ready to make a joke about people being fucked up, shitting on themselves. I'd already read that one ahead. Let me get rid of the paywall. Hold on. Remove paywall. Come on. If you guys use Chrome, there's an extension called Bardeen. 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 And it removes paywalls from websites like the Washington Post. No prescription needed inside a White House clinic. Systemic problems. Many issues trace to Ronnie Jackson, Trump's personal physician, and now a Republican congressman, according to reports from foreign staffers. When Omarosa Newman wrenched her ankle while rushing to join a motorcade in January 2017, the Trump aide and former reality TV star sought help from the White House Medical Unit, a military-run clinic that promised free on-demand care to senior officials. But Newman quickly realized that the clinic went beyond standard procedures. They would give out anything, right from the bottle, no prescription needed. Newman recounted in her memoir, Unhinged. Now the Pentagon has confirmed many aspects of what Newman said was an open secret among senior officials. A long-awaited Inspector General's report released last month faulted previous White House medical teams for wildly dispensing sedatives and stimulants, failing to maintain records. They would give people going out of the country a to-go bag full of these drugs. And like sometimes they didn't even ask for them. These are prescription grade drugs that you need a prescription for. And sometimes they didn't even ask for the drugs. It was just like a go bag to leave the country. Stimulants, wildly dispensing sedatives and stimulants, failing to maintain records on potent drugs, including fentanyl, providing care to potentially hundreds of ineligible White House staff and contractors, and flouting other federal regulations. We concluded that all phases of the White House medical unit's pharmacy operations had severe and systemic. Now, is every president doing this? I don't know, maybe. Had severe and systemic problems, the report concluded, adding that the challenge threatened the unit's primary mission to keep the president and vice president healthy and safe. Inspector General's report sparked significant public alarm, But a Washington Post review found problems with the unit's conduct were even more pronounced than the Pentagon's latest findings. According to administration documents and interviews with former White House staffers and medical unit members who spoke on the condition of anonymity to discuss private conversations and internal procedures. 4 former members of the White House medical unit confirmed that in both the Trump and Obama White Houses, the team passed out sedatives such as Ambien and stimulants such as Provigil without proper prescriptions, provided complimentary medical equipment and imaging to ineligible staffers, and used this tells you how out of control medical expenses are in the U.S. That people that work for the fucking White House are bumming free Medicare, Medicaid, trying to get taken care of. Provided complimentary medical equipment and imaging to ineligible staffers, and used aliases and electronic health records to disguise the patient's identities and deliver free care in cases where the recipients wouldn't be eligible. Former staffers said those practices were shaped by Ronnie Jackson, an emergency medicine physician who led the team under President Barack Obama and continued to exert control over it as President Trump's personal doctor, and ultimately spent nearly 14 years in the White House. Now a Republican congressman, Jackson used his proximity to both presidents to build influence by dispensing medical care and drugs without proper procedures, the staffers said. Conduct that earned him the nickname such as the Candy Man or Dr. Feelgood. Those were his nicknames in the White House, according to a whistleblower campaign to Congress in 2018. According to Jackson's own portrayal, he worked as a personal doctor to dozens of officials, providing whatever they needed and whenever they needed it. It was full-blown, over-the-top, concierge, executive medicine, and we did it better than anybody else on the planet. As a result, everyone treated me and my team very well, Jackson wrote in his 2022 memoir, holding the line where he described how his practices helped him win favor with both Obama and Trump. The entire medical unit had a special place in the hierarchy of the White House. I had a lot more to offer than any doctor they had ever had before, and they needed me close by. You were their drug dealer, bro. You were their drug dealer. Just because you got a medical license doesn't mean you can't be a drug dealer. The congressman and his allies have dismissed criticism about his work in the White House as politically motivated anti-Trump attacks, a message his office echoed recently, alleging in an email that the Inspector General is helping to conduct a hit job related to the healthiest president of all time. I hate when Trump comes out and says he's the healthiest, most fit, most mentally sound president of all time. According to who? Jackson's office also argued that he should not be blamed for events that took place after December 2014 when he stepped down. That's not true, right? If you set the precedent and the next set come in and you got them together and told them how we do things around here, you could still be held responsible. When he stepped down as the medical unit's director while remaining in the influential role of physician to the president, and said that White House lawyers and senior Defense Department officials were aware of the unit's practice, contrary to the Inspector General's findings. In an interview on Capitol Hill last month, Jackson said the White House lawyers signed off on his medical decisions. People were getting the care that was authorized. Jackson told a reporter, adding that the medical team played a particularly important role on trips abroad. He added that his team prescribed narcotics less than 5 times across his tenure, such as cases where someone broke a bone. The unit staffers who spoke to the Post also said that fentanyl, while improperly tracked in the clinic's records, a finding of the Pentagon report that has drawn particular attention since its publication, was never actually prescribed to their knowledge. Instead, it was kept on hand for extreme emergencies, such as White House fence jumper impaling themselves on a spike. The accusations that we prescribe fentanyl and morphine to patients is absolutely absurd, Jackson said. No one has ever prescribed fentanyl to a patient, and yes, we ordered fentanyl. Jackson told her, and it was, so they ordered fentanyl. They didn't keep it in the computer system how much they had on hand, but they promised they never gave it out. Jackson told reporters in 2018 that he had prescribed Ambien to Trump while traveling, and 2 former staffers said that Obama also received sleeping aids on trips. But there's no evidence in the reports or from staffers who spoke to the Post that either president abused Jackson's ready access to the medication. President Biden brought on Kevin O'Connor as his personal physician in 2021, reprising the role he played for Biden during the Obama administration. O'Connor whom Jackson has publicly demeaned and portrayed as a rival, left the White House during the Trump administration. The White House did not make O'Connor available for an interview and referred questions about the medical unit to the Pentagon, which oversees the team's operations. The Obama Foundation did not respond to the questions about the medical unit's operation in his administration either. The Pentagon said in a statement, new personnel and reforms were put in place in the medical unit under Biden's presidency, citing new leadership but declining to specify other changes. The Defense Department also has committed to delivering safeguards around prescriptions, patient eligibility, and other problems identified by the Inspector General. But Jackson's former colleagues say they remain concerned about his conduct and proximity to power. The longtime military doctor is arguably the most prominent voice who has vouched for the health and mental acuity of Trump as he seeks to return to the White House. The new Pentagon report also arrives amid widespread questions about the 81-year-old Biden's own fitness to serve, placing new scrutiny on the White House medical team trusted with his health. This isn't a partisan issue. It's a Ronnie Jackson issue, said former colleague in the White House unit, lamenting that Jackson disregarded medical norms to satisfy powerful people. It was bad under Obama and it got worse under Trump. If Trump empowers him again, I don't know what he'll do. Winning fans in the White House. Jackson's path to the White House began in West Texas, where he was a son. We don't care about this. There was an Inspector General report on this about Provigil and the go bags. This is the report. Evaluation of the DoD internal controls related to patient eligibility and pharmaceutical management within the National Capital Region Executive Medicine Services. What a fucking long title. Component report type, keyword. I don't want to search that. I want to read it. Full report. Objective or background. In 2018, the DoD Office of Inspector General hotline received complaints alleging that a senior military medical officer assigned to the White House medical unit engaged in improper medical practices. Additionally, several of the hotline complaints were regarding the pharmaceutical practices and eligibility of care of some patients treated at DoD executive medicine facilities within the National Capital Region. In May of 2018, the DoD OIG, Office of Inspector General, initiated the investigation of the allegations about the White House medical. I covered this story, I think, when it came out, now that I'm reading it more. I know I read it, but I think I covered it too. Here's the findings. We concluded that except for the White House medical unit, the National Capital Region executive medicine clinics that we visited did not procure, so this is except for the White House, did not procure, store, or dispense controlled substances or other prescription medications. Rather, they relied on full-service military treatment facility, pharmacies, and pharmaceutical support. The National Capital Region executive medicine clinics relied on full-service base or post pharmacies for all pharmaceutical support. So everywhere but the White House basically sent you to a pharmacy. They didn't hand it out right there in the unit. Additionally, other than the White House medical unit, the Joint Commission and Independent Healthcare Accreditation Agency accredited all National Capital Region pharmacy operations as required by the DoD manual. So again, except for the White House. Then it says, conversely, the White House medical unit's pharmaceutical services included the full scope of pharmacy operations, including storage and inventory, prescribing and dispensing, procurement and disposal, and was not credentialed by any outside agency. We concluded that all phases of the White House medical unit's pharmacy operations had severe and systemic problems due to the unit's reliance on ineffective internal controls to ensure compliance with pharmacy safety standards. In addition, the military health system senior leaders did not oversee the White House medical unit's pharmacy operations. Without oversight from qualified pharmacy staff, the White House medical unit's pharmaceutical management practices may have been subject to prescribing errors and inadequate medication management, increasing the risk to health and safety of patients treated within the unit. Additionally, the White House medical unit's pharmaceutical management practices ineffectively used DoD funds by obtaining brand name medication instead of generic equivalents. Yeah, there was another thing, like they wanted the brand name Provigil and the brand name Ambien for whatever reason, and increased the risk of for the diversion of controlled substances. We found that the White House medical unit provided a wide range of healthcare and pharmaceutical services to ineligible White House staff in violation of federal law and regulation of regulation and DoD policy. Additionally, the White House medical unit dispensed prescription medications, including controlled substances, to ineligible White House staff. In analyzing of testimonies of former White House military office employees we found that the White House Medical Unit senior leaders directed eligibility practices that did not comply with DoD guidance. This analysis also found that several former White House Medical Unit military medical providers stated that they were unable to act outside of the White House Medical Unit's historical practices and that they were not empowered to deny requests from senior White House Medical Unit leaders. So they felt like they couldn't deny the requests from their senior leaders. Military, not the president or anybody. Additionally, we found that the White House Medical Unit did not follow DoD guidelines for verifying patient eligibility, and the Defense Health Agency and Service Surgeons General did not oversee the White House Medical Unit's eligibility practices as required by Public Law 114-328. So I know people will wave this off like, so what? You know, the doctor just helped more people out than he wasn't supposed to, and this and that, whatever. But this is corruption you're talking about. Everybody wants to get rid of corruption. This is part of it. This costs taxpayers. They used money. They didn't follow the rules. They used money on extra people, and you can't even get fucking health insurance at a decent rate. Corruption isn't always, is never, oh, all the Democrats in the world are raping kids underneath the Capitol. It's usually silly little things like this that lead to bigger things. This guy is now a senator because he made so many friends doing this. You know what I'm saying? Like, corruption is usually small things or stuff that certain people might hand wave off that builds into bigger things. As a result, the military health system did not bill non-DoD beneficiaries for services rendered. And we found that the DoD funded and resourced care for an average of 6 to 20 non-DoD beneficiary patients per week. So between 6 and 20 per week got free health care that you paid for that they weren't allowed to. Multiple former White House Medical Unit medical providers stated that they requested an early departure from the unit due to the unit's practices. Furthermore, we found that the National Capital Region Medical Directorate executive medical medicine facilities did not have consistent eligibility criteria for determining eligibility or access to care. This occurred because of the lack of oversight in executive medicine services. As a result, medical care was prioritized by seniority rather than by medical need. That's fucked up. They gave out medical care based on how important you were in the government rather than by how big your need was. That's why we have triage, which increased the risk to the health and safety of non-executive medicine patients. We recommend that the director of the Defense Health Agency, in coordination with the White House Medical Unit director, develop policy and procedures to manage controlled and non-controlled substance, blah, 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 recommendations, management. Yeah, there's a part about these go back. Let me see if I can find that. Okay. Here it is. Before we would get ready, let's see, Control F. The interviews indicated that medicine was often dispensed without any written records. Quote, before we get ready for a big overseas trip, staffers were directed to make pre-packs that consisted of plastic sandwich baggies containing the sleeping drug Ambien, as well as the stimulant Provigil, which is meant to help people stay awake. So staffers, not even the president or anybody else, were just handed like, here's your uppers in case you need to go to sleep, or here's your downers in case you need to go to sleep, and here's your uppers when you need to wake up. Put them in this sandwich bag, keep them in your butthole. Both are categorized as controlled substances, meaning they require special handling and record keeping by pharmacies because they carry a risk for dependence and abuse. And there weren't any records kept on this. Even though they were handed sleeping pills and basically legal meth to be up and be down, they just threw them in a sandwich bag and gave them to you. And again, this isn't even a political thing. It was over 2 different presidents from 2 different parties. These pre-packs would often be handed out to senior staff or their assistants without any record of who was ultimately getting them, the testimony said. The directive to give medication, including all controlled substances, to patients' representatives without the need to present the patient's ID card was also found by investigators on a handwritten note dated March 21st, 2014. So they had a handwritten note saying, hey, just give these people this medicine, controlled substances. They're not going to show you their ID. Just fucking give it to their assistant or them or whatever if they ask for it. In one case, according to the expected testimony, a doctor in the medical unit asked a staffer if they could hook up someone with some Provigil as part of a gift for leaving the White House. So someone retiring or taking a different job said, man, you know, I kind of hate that I'm leaving. Is there anything you could hook me up? Is there any way you could hook me up with some of that, you know, that legal meth before I leave? You know, like a 3-month supply or something. Could you hook me up as a gift? I'm leaving. Like, that's crazy that's going on in the fucking White House. And I've seen Donald Trump sweating up a storm, running his mouth, talking like crazy. Like, he seems like he's on some type of stimulant, doesn't he? I mean, during some of his speeches and shit. It's so Provigil is used to treat narcolepsy. Okay? It's used to treat I mean, it's strong. It's strong. Provigil is strong. They used to give it to like we had a guy on our shift, or when I worked out of town, he was on night shift with us. And he specifically told him he couldn't work night shift. And they're like, oh, just be a couple weeks, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I can't get used to flipping. Like, I'm tired at night. I can't sleep during the day or whatever. So his doctor put him on Provigil and Ambien. So Provigil to work night shift, Ambien to go sleep in the day. And he did it. He was only supposed to be on night shift for like 2 or 3 weeks. But they extended him, of course. Like, they lied to him to get him there. And then they extended him. And he went back to his doctor, had to go back home. Go to his doctor, get a prescription because it's controlled substance. They won't send it over state lines. And his doctor's like, hell no. Like, I told you I would do this just this one time, and you promised me it would only be 3 weeks, and they were going to get you on day shift. Hell no, you're killing yourself. By chasing yourself on uppers to stay awake and downers to go back down, you're just killing yourself. You're killing yourself. Yeah. It's not great. Like, it's pretty fucking strong. Like, if it works for narcolepsy, it's probably too strong to just be like, I don't want coffee today. Give me a Provigil. That's a big deal. That's a big fucking deal. Like, it's incredibly strong. But they were just handing these out to staffers as their go bags or whatever they called them. Yeah, it's 1,000% an upper. Why are you saying it's not enough? It's in the stimulant class. It's in the stimulant class. It's 1,000% an upper. You can't be a stimulant and not be an upper. That's what it means. Prescription medication often used to treat excessive sleepiness caused by narcolepsy, obstructive sleep apnea, and shift work. Provigil belongs to a class of medication called stimulants. It comes in a 100 milligram to 200 milligram oral tablets. Studies show that Provigil increases the ability to stay awake compared to placebo in people with narcolepsy, sleep apnea, or shift work. Provigil is considered a first choice medication option for decreasing sleepiness in people with these conditions. It's 100% a controlled substance. It is a Schedule 4 prescription drug. This means it has accepted medical use, but also may cause physical and psychological dependency and may be used and abused. The government has created special rules for how Schedule 4 drugs can be prescribed by a doctor and dispensed. Yeah, it's 100% an upper. It wouldn't be a stimulant. It's not an amphetamine. Yeah, it's not an amphetamine. It is a stimulant class, but it's not one of the amphetamines. Yeah, that was going on. People who didn't deserve it got it. You paid for all of it. Prescription pills are just handing out like crazy. The DOD actually has requirements that they're supposed to use generic drugs, right? Because it's on the taxpayer's dime. They don't. They didn't. Like somebody apparently didn't like the generic versions of Ambien or whatever. They said they preferred the name brand, so they started buying the name brand, which was like an 800% difference in price. It's all in this report if you guys want to read it. In the Office of Inspector General, DOD report, controls related to patient eligibility and pharmaceutical management within the national. You can just type in White House Pharmacy Inspector General, and it'll bring it up. Anyways, back to the bigger question. Are we against Don Jr. now?
Time. It's just so different. I'm used to kind of getting up on a stage.
I just when you said it, I recognized it. Michael Robertson. I remember reading the article. I don't know if I read it on the stream or not, but I remember reading it.
With a mic and talking to 10, 15,000 people, it's not a problem. But we're at a unique place in our country, something that's probably never happened again because we're at a crossroads. I'm on Rumble because it's speech that oftentimes we're telling the truth, probably most of the time. The CDC and others build up a follow. Rumble's been unique in thinking. Talk about this.
I don't know if it's at the end.
Take it a little bit further than most. From YouTube, first time in recent history, whether it's me doing my rants, whether it's me long-form interviews, whether it's seen by the media, by big.
You guys notice anything different about me?
Tech. I've seen the truth.
I got a haircut.
And I've seen what's perception. And unfortunately, we live in a world where perception is actually, and I've even seen it about 6 months ago. That just ended. Not once. In second or third in the 2020 in the race or not. Do look to guys like us.
He seems like, don't he, Chris?
Cable probably tells you all you need to know about the pain. What those institutions are out from, trying to make sure on the other side, their argument will be.
I'm trying to find his dad.
Gabe wanted me that they're finally understand big 8 hours of nonsense, and we'll get to that in a second.
I bet you it's at the end, but it could be stuck here in the middle. There it is.
Doing that again, whether it's Rumble, whether it's some of the other people that have gone out there, whether it's some of our sponsors on this show.
Nick Alvear, I don't know if you're still here. I think you were here earlier, but is Don Jr. a grifter now, and we're abandoning him? He does Goldco. There's a bunch of big names that do Goldco. I wouldn't be surprised if you found fucking Dan Scavino and all of them have run ads for Goldco before.
It takes guts to support a conservative. So I'd like to personally just thank Goldco for being the first sponsor of this show. So if you want to check it out, check out a company that's unafraid, support those guys, check out about diversifying your investments, go check out goldco.com/Don Jr. That's DONJR. Check out what they have to offer. God knows in this world of inflation, insanity, we're on the brink of war with Russia. Dmitry Medvedev is talking about how we could escalate into nuclear war. I don't know. Probably makes sense to check it out, but we need to be out there supporting those who support our values. Guess what, guys? You're going to...
You seem more calm, borderline sedate. I don't think that's it.
Be out there looking for something anyway, whatever it may be. Support those people who share your values.
I wish I had more drugs.
Who have the guts to do that, because it's not an equal playing field.
I took a full dose, though.
Fair. We got to be supporting those guys. So check out the link for Goldco. See what you think. They'll take care of you that way. But take the time to seek out those businesses.
It takes guts to support a conservative. Yeah, I wonder why.
Now, let's get into the news of the day. Now, one of the things...
So there's his Goldco ad read. I wonder if he does another one at the end. I bet he does.
Again, we're gonna mix and match it on the platform. We're gonna mix and match it with content. Ultimately, I'm gonna listen to what you guys have to say, because that's what it's all about. We're gonna have the studio in our house. We'll be trying to do as much of it as a lot. I go to crazy places.
I see the real you. It's a local.
It's sort of a second or third, guy on the platform, arguably the best.
So true.
The American people. That perhaps I wish I would have included it here. The truth. The nuance that they think. If you're friendly with us and you know us, call me later on. We got a long drive home. Well, no, but I want to know if there's things I got to do better.
I'm very proud of you.
Maybe go full Kim Guilfoyle, full like spicy Puerto Rican.
The best is
wanted to share. There's I was reading about some guy that stuff doesn't generally stack in the favor of father. So
weaponization of the legal system.
I'm sure people won't mind, right? All right.
I do like controlled water.
I'm really kidding, but kind of sort of kidding. Kidding enough that I don't get in trouble when I leave this chair. Let's see. Let's push back. Let's become unafraid, and let's win. So
he didn't.
So much,
he didn't do it at the end, unless he did it before he switched studios. It looked like he was in a different area before this, right?
5 platforms.
Did he do it during this interview, or was he always sitting in that chair? Oh, I guess he was.
And then have no follow up after that.
Anyways. Hashtag Goldco Partner. Learn how to diversify your retirement account with precious metals. Click here. Goldco.com/Don Jr. John Jr. Goldco.com/Don Jr. So is this the go-to now, Nick? Is this what we're doing? Because Nick said he's talking about Phil here. So he's talking about Goldco. He's talking about 7K. He says, let me make it easy for you. You want to know who's a grifter? Anyone selling gold, period. These so-called truthers ignore the fact that they affiliate for an unregulated metals company that takes 50 to 60% from people's life savings. They don't see anything wrong with it. To continue the grift and to enrich their lives while stealing the life savings of others is a completely disgusting grift. Kind of interesting, right? Dr. Z's on the list. Obviously, Phil's on the list. Dr. Z's on the list. His all-male review team. Don Jr.'s on the list. I wouldn't be surprised if some of the biggest streamers that they follow and like and support are all on the fucking list. Like Goldco is in there with the conservative movement. That's what they do. They're 100% in there. So it seems kind of weird. Not to mention Rumble. So we know we're never doing Rumble ever again. We're never doing Rumble again. Are you going to pull your videos from Rumble? Somebody put Nick and Phil at it again. Hold on. Let me show this. That wasn't it. That was a clip. Are you going to pull everything from Rumble? They actually get these ad reads for people and affiliate agreements. Nick and Phil at it again. There you go. Nick and Phil, everybody. I want to play that Dono clip again. Hold on. That was a good one.
And sometimes when they touch, Nick and Phildo can be too much. And we have to roll our eyes and hide.
Have to roll our eyes. And I don't know who the bottom is. I don't know who the bottom is. You guys want to see some stand-up comedy here? I think I got a good one. Stand-up comedy, everyone. From my favorite. I like him more than Scott. Mr. Kevin H.
What's the deal with airplane food? I mean, when you're in first class, they actually give you airplane food, and then the people in the air class don't get anything. I mean, it's like you sneak in there. You know.
That is true. Nick narrates like he's trying to not wake his parents up. And beyond that, do you know that Phil also texts this female? That's 100% true. He doesn't want to wake up his parents. He doesn't want to wake up his parents. He's already been yelled at. There's not enough room for activities.
Anything? Oh yeah, we get airplane food. And I don't want to be a pirate or a cowboy. You know, I have like many pairs of clothes, and I like to wear like at least one.
By the way, the reason he did this is because he did another video where he was pretending to be Hank Hill from King of the Hill, and somebody said, "Oh, it's Jerry Seinfeld," and he responded, "Fuck you." And then someone said, "I thought you didn't want to be called Jerry Seinfeld." And he said, "I realized it's a compliment."
One pair a day. Because if I wear more pairs, then what's the deal, you know? Now, of course, what's the deal with other things? I mean, people are the worst. They're the worst ever, you know? And also, what superhero do you guys like? I mean, for me, it's Superman. It's always been Superman. Because, you know, Superman has super strength, super speed, super hearing, everything. And besides, maybe he got super sense of humor from Earth's yellow sun. And of course, you know, I have a Superman collectible figure in my apartment. And of course, I always love watching the Macy's Day Thanksgiving parade on TV. And of course, you know me, because I'm Jerry Seinfeld, and I live right next door to Kramer. My best friend is George Costanza, and my ex-girlfriend is...
Red Pill Girlfriend says, I'm sure there could be room for some flexibility here. Have you seen what Don Jr. looks like nowadays? Even back then?
Bennis, who I used to date. But you know, for me, I can date anyone because, hey, I'm Jerry Seinfeld. I know you guys are fans of me because, I mean, you know.
Hey, for someone else's dono clip.
What was your favorite? Was it the gay episode, or was the episode about the shrinkage?
So I linked dono clip. To Stream Elements, which is the Gun and Bomber donation. So I don't know if you guys noticed this, but this alert came across. Yaller Nuts tipped $5, and that was actually linked to the dono clip alert that came across. It said the new dono clip inbound. That was pretty cool. That's the first time that's worked.
And I mean, happy to read your comments down below. So tell me which episode was your favorite. I'll be happy to read your comments. And
okay, I can't take any more of this. But the whole reason he did this skit is because this skit, someone said he looked like Jerry Seinfeld, and he said he responded with "fuck you."
God dang it, Dal, shut before I kick your ass. Oh, hey everyone, it's me, Hank Hill from King of the Hill, the TV show. Of course, you know that since I said I'm going to kick Dale's ass. We don't even know that. Anyways, that's what we're doing today on TikTok. Oh, yeah, I know. I'm supposed to be wearing a white shirt, but actually this is my street.
He's King of the Hill. Someone left a comment that said, but your name is Kevin H. And he says, tell that to the people who call me Jerry Seinfeld or O.J. Simpson or Joe Biden. And they say I'm autistic. I am not. What a response.
Propane shirt. And that's the company I work for. Strickland Propane. And you need propane?
Damn, he's risen these motherfuckers. Somebody said, hey, Seinfeld. And Kevin H responds, be sure to say goodbye to your wife tonight before I steal her. And someone else says, wait, my bad. That's clearly Jerry Seinfeld. And he says, I hope you said your last goodbyes to your wife because I'm taking her tonight. This is not Hank Hill. Let me ask your wife because I'm going to call her later. Kevin H is edgy now.
If you just come in this room on brain, I'll hook you guys up. Well, now that I'm here, I can tell a little bit about myself and if you've forgotten. Now, of course, my name is Hank Hill, and I live in Texas. And it gets very hot in the summer. If it gets 1 degree higher, I'm going to kick someone's ass. Yeah, I say that a lot. Like I say to Dale, that doesn't. I approve. I keep you guys on saying a lot.
Here's the comment. Someone says, "You kind of look like Jerry Seinfeld." This is the first person who's ever said that to him. He says, "Fuck off." No, I don't. Then he does a Jerry Seinfeld skit.
I said to Bobby and someone else, you two take turns kicking each other's asses. And I always.
But wait till it get home. She gonna be like, damn, shit, my God.
Check your P.O. box tomorrow. Your package will be delivered. Oh, thank you very much. Hope you and Mariah deserve. Oh, shit. I know what you're talking about. Thank you. I appreciate it. I never got back to you, did I? I can't remember any goddamn thing. I'm sorry, but thank you. I appreciate it.
I'm going to kick your ass a lot in the show. Now, of course, let me tell you about my family. I've got a wife named Peggy, a son named Bobby, and a niece named Luann, who's actually, if you've seen the show, you know who she is. She's a cute blonde girl with the accent.
Ooh. What was he going to? My niece if you've seen the show, she's cute and she's got an accent.
And of course, I've got 3 friends. Dale.
Yeah, no, you're great. I'm sorry. I should have got back to you. But yeah, anything. That's probably what I'd have told you anyways. Just send it.
Yep. And sometimes, you know, they do.
Somebody said, little bit Hank, little bit Boomhauer. Let's call him Hank Hauer.
We do argue a lot, but, you know, they're still good friends. And
God damn it, Bobby.
A neighbor named Khan, who's actually, you know, who always calls me a redneck. But I want to know if I'm your favorite character in King of the Hill. But if you like any other characters, let me know who they are and why they're your.
It's weird. Like, I mean, he's genuine, right? He's a genuine guy. I'm not gonna make fun of him or nothing. But it's weird. He does cosplay as a person owning a TikTok channel and saying, "Hey, I'm sure you've seen me on TV. I'm real. This is my son. This is my wife. Am I your favorite character?"
Favorite. Now, mostly, I've always said I'm going to kick your ass to many people. Like one time, Dale was riding a motorized tractor.
Marita says $9.99. Pair character rolling on the floor laughing. Thank you very much for that. I appreciate it. Pair character rolling on the floor laughing.
And I tell him, I'm going to kick your fat bull ass. Or I've said to myself when my hair was gone, I said, I was kicking my own ass.
I mean, just because it affects you like positively, right? And it helps you, it still doesn't change the class of drug it is, right? It works for you because you need whatever it is.
And Bobby, yeah, he still goes. He's a good kid. He still.
I'm sure there's people who are like, heroin's not a drug. I don't feel myself without it. You know, I mean, it doesn't change what class it is.
And normally I do stick up for Bobby.
I'm glad it works for you though.
You know, because he's still just a little kid. But
yeah, he's Kevin H. He's basically the arch nemesis of Scott Wajos. They are basically at each other's throats constantly. I'm not going to show the videos tonight, but I am going to tell you about something. What's this?
You guys know about Gold Code. Don Jr.'s been talking about it. Gold and silver can protect your retirement savings. And
Kim too.
You guys know about Gold Code. Don Jr.'s been talking about it. Gold and silver can protect your retirement savings from inflation and dollar devaluation. And owning tangible, physical, inflation hedging gold and silver can help diversify your portfolio. You've got to have a diversified portfolio. Everybody knows that. And Gold Code has helped thousands of Americans diversify their retirement savings.
We're going to mark everybody off the list, aren't we?
Support you. It makes sense, doesn't it? Instead of supporting woke companies who hate you and use your money to further their political agenda. So go to Kim's Metals. It's kind of catchy.
Oh, Kim's Metals. It is kind of catchy.
.com. And I want to make sure that you guys know about Gold Code. Don Jr.'s been talking about it. Gold and
Grifter.
Protect your retirement savings.
The whole family's grifters. I figured she was just advertising Don Jr.'s one. Nope. She has her own custom link.
Thousands of Americans diversify and protect.
I'm not going to show the videos of it tonight, but I do have a story for you. So we'll review the videos. Scott Rogers gets all up and freaking out and calls Goldzio and tells him he has to start a live stream immediately. It's an emergency, okay? It's an emergency, right? It's an emergency. I got to get on here. Start the fucking live stream. It's an emergency. They start the live stream. They do the live stream. Scott comes out on this live stream to explain how this is an emergency. When he comes on the live stream, he tells Gold that another guy that they hang out with, James, doxed Scott Rogers, and he's a member of Hamas. That's right. Doxed Scott Rogers, even though Scott gives out his phone number and his address all the time. And he's a member of Hamas. Now, neither Scott or James would say what happened. It was kind of hush-hush. But Scott accused him of doxing him and being a member of Hamas. Later on, Scott comes back on. We'll play these videos, maybe on the Patreon show. Later on, Scott comes back on, and turns out no one told him he was doxed. He didn't see himself being doxed. He didn't hear himself being doxed. None of that actually happened. No video was made about him. He didn't read it anywhere. He didn't see it anywhere. He didn't recall it from anywhere. He instead called this emergency meeting because he had one of his superpowers is having a feeling when someone doxes you and is a member of Hamas. That's what happened in Scott Rogers' life. We were all worried when he said an emergency. We were hoping another ghost didn't fucking confront him and give him cancer or something. That'd have been awful. Lung cancer. But no, he just had a feeling that James had doxed him and was also a member of Hamas. No one told him that. No one showed him that. He didn't get a vision from God. He just has a feeling. It looks like some field documents are out. You want to read these documents right quick, or you want to end and do it on a separate show tomorrow or something? What do you want to do, chat? Let me hear it. Usually I separate these out of a show because they get more views that way. But this is Phil, the Scranton Times. Phil Godlewski versus Chris Kelly et al. Plaintiff's brief in opposition to defendant's motion for summary judgment. I hope this isn't one where we have to read back across and like statement one denied in part. What is this? It's got a fucking index to it. Questions presented. Whether the court should deny defendant's motion for summary judgment with respect to plaintiff Godlewski's causes of action sounding in defamation. Whether the court should deny defendant's motion for summary judgment with respect to plaintiff Godlewski's cause of action sounding in false light and invasion of privacy. Whether the court should deny the defendant's motion for summary judgment with respect to plaintiff. This is the last piece of documents that we were waiting on until the judge rules if this is going to be a summary judgment. A summary judgment is basically this case does not meet the grounds of like whatever you're claiming or what has been claimed or whatever, and it's just settled that day. That no witnesses, no evidence, no jury, no testimony. It's just settled before the case even starts, in case you're wondering. Godlewski does not quarrel with defendant's recitation of the procedural history of this matter. Okay, so he doesn't have an issue with the procedural history. Facts of the case. Godlewski will set forth relevant facts with citations to the record at appropriate points in the course of the argument. Notes concerning exhibits. To avoid unnecessary duplication, Godlewski will make a reference to defendant's exhibits rather than attach them again to this brief. Citation to defendant's exhibits will appear as defendant's defendant's example number or exhibits number. Exhibits appended by Godlewski will be referred to as exhibit number, not defendant's exhibit number. Argument. Defendants have in their brief characterized the questions presented. Damn it, I was struggling already. Defendants have in their brief characterized the questions presented as a series of some 8 legal issues spread over 18 points of argument. For the sake of clarity and ease, Godlewski proposes that the issue be addressed in 3 sections, each addressing Godlewski's particular claims. Before turning to the argument on substantive points, Godlewski will set forth the standards relevant for consideration of a motion for summary judgment. Pennsylvania rules of civil procedure permit a party to move for summary judgment in whole or in part on the following conditions. Whenever there is no genuine issue of any material fact as to the necessary element of the cause of action or defense, which could be established by additional discovery, or I guess it could go the other way too, summary judgment. If you don't meet the grounds for defense against a claim, they could go ahead and give you summary judgment that you lost as well, the plaintiff one. Or expert report. If, after the completion of discovery relevant to the motion, including the production of experts' reports, an adverse party who will bear the burden of proof at the trial has failed to produce evidence of facts essential to the cause of action or defense, which in a jury trial would require the issues to be submitted to a jury. That's basically what they're claiming. Like, he hasn't produced evidence of an fact that is essential to the cause of action for him bringing this case, which in a jury trial you would have to check these boxes to have this case, right? If you're going for financial damages, you have to be financially damaged. If you're a public figure claiming defamation, you have to prove actual malice in the state of Pennsylvania. In considering a motion for summary judgment, the court may consider evidence of record in pleadings, depositions, answers to discovery, affidavits, and signed expert reports. In construing the rules regarding summary judgment, the Superior Court has held that summary judgment is made available by PARCP 1035 when the pleadings, depositions, answers to interrogatories, admissions on file, and supporting affidavits considered together reveal no genuine issue of material fact, and the moving party is entitled to judgment as a matter of law. Harris versus Easton Publication Company. However, testimonial affidavits of the moving party or his witnesses, not documentary, even if uncontradicted, will not afford sufficient bias for entry of summary judgment. So, test affidavits by the moving party, the person who's filing for summary judgment, or the witnesses. So an affidavit from the Scranton Times or the Scranton Times witnesses that are not documentary, even if there's no contradictory evidence against them, will not provide basis for a summary judgment. So if the Scranton Times had a witness that did an affidavit that's not documentary, but it's like statements of fact, they're not documenting something that definitely like a fact, right? I sat down with Phil Godlewski. He told me this. If they're just giving their side of the story, that's not enough for summary judgment in Pennsylvania. That trial by testimonial affidavit is prohibited, cannot be emphasized too strongly. So trial by testimonial affidavit is prohibited. An affidavit is different than deposition because no one else gets to ask you questions. You just write an affidavit. Further, to determine the absence of material fact, the court must view the evidence in light most favorable to the non-moving party. So this is something working against the Scranton Times here. The judge is bound by law, the court is bound by law, to view all evidence in favor of the non-moving party, the party that doesn't want a summary judgment. So by law, the judge has to look at all this evidence, and if he thinks, this could go either way, he has to give it to Phil. Because he's the one saying, let's go to trial, and the Scranton Times are saying there isn't a trial here. So the judge has to view the evidence in the most favorable to Phil. And any doubts must be resolved against the entry of judgment. Okay? Finally, in doing so, the court must accept as true all well-pleaded facts in Phil's pleadings. The court must accept as true all well-pleaded, meaning they meet all the standards of a plead, facts in Phil's pleadings, and give Phil the benefit of all reasonable inferences to be drawn therefrom. Now, the reason the court system works like this is if Phil went for summary judgment and said, look, they don't have a defense, he would have to basically give the benefit of the doubt to the Scranton Times, because he gives the benefit of the doubt to the people who are asking to go to trial, because in trial, all of this will be proven or not proven or whatever. So there really is a high bar for summary judgment. And if Scranton Times gets this, that's going to be an overwhelming victory for them, right? An overwhelming victory. As the comments to Rule 1035.2 establish, oral testimony alone, either through testimonial affidavits or depositions of the moving party or the moving party's witnesses, even if uncontradicted, is generally insufficient to establish. So generally, even if you have testimony or deposition, that's not enough to get a summary judgment, even if you don't have another witness that says that's not, like, let's say Bree comes in and there's no witness going against Bree saying that what she said isn't true. That's generally not enough to get a summary judgment. It has to be more than that. In the words of Justice Sharswood, however clear and indisputable may be the proof, when it depends upon oral testimony, it is nevertheless the province of the jury to decide, under instructions from the court, as to the law applicable to the facts and subject to the solitary power of the court to award new trial if they should deem the verdict contrary to the weight of the evidence. So basically, testimony, no matter what testimony, is ultimately up for the jury to decide if it's true or not. And if it goes against the court, then the court orders a new trial, not summary judgments before the jury ever gets to hear it. The credibility of these witnesses, without whose testimony plaintiff could not have recovered, was for the jury, and the plaintiff's motion for binding instruction should not have been granted. That was from a different case. In the context of defamation claims, the Pennsylvania Supreme Court has held that we are satisfied that the case law of the Supreme Court of the United States supports our adherence to the Nanty-Glow rule in this controversy of the evidence of the existence of actual malice. Okay, so we got to look up the Nanty-Glow rule. The Curran Court noted that in Hutchinson versus Proxmire, the Supreme Court expressed some doubt about the rule favoring the use of summary judgment in determining whether a plaintiff has adequately shown actual malice under Times v. Sullivan. So it seems like they use the Nanty-Glow rule, right? And it seems like they have expressed some doubt about this rule actually leading to summary judgments before the trial, before it all comes to the trial. Basically, the Nanty-Glow rule means that the moving party for summary judgment may not rest solely upon its own testimonial affidavits or depositions, or those of witnesses to establish the non-existence of genuine issues. So they can't say, Bree here shows us that Phil has no case. They can go to Phil's case and say, well, he hasn't deposed this person, he hasn't submitted any evidence, he hasn't proved this, he hasn't proved that, he hasn't entered any of this into deposition, he hasn't entered anything against the text messages that were entered, all that stuff. But they can't say this testimony shows Phil has no case. It says the proof of actual malice calls a defendant's state of mind into question and does not readily lend itself to summary deposition. It doesn't say it can't. It says it does not readily. Additionally, the Supreme Court has specifically stated that the defendant in a defamation action cannot ensure a favorable verdict by testifying that he published with a belief that the statements were true. A defendant in a defamation action cannot ensure a favorable verdict. So you can't just use this as the ultimate defense. Well, I thought it was true, right? You can't just use that as the ultimate defense. That's not enough. So basically anybody, if that was true, anybody could write anything and be like, I thought it was true. Rather, the finder of fact must determine whether the publication was indeed made in good faith. With these foundational points established, may move to examination of the substantive questions presented. The court should deny defendant's motion for summary judgment with respect to Plaintiff Godlewski's causes of action sounding in defamation. Pennsylvania Uniform Single Publication Act, USPA, establishes the respective burdens of proof placed upon a plaintiff and a defendant in a defamation action. Pursuant to USPA, a plaintiff in a defamation action bears the burden of proving the following. 1, the defamatory character of the communication. 2, its publication by the defendant, by Scranton Times. 3, its publication to Phil, to the plaintiff. Or its application to the plaintiff. 4, the understanding by the recipient of its defamatory meaning. So whoever receives it would be like, oh, this is defamatory. 5, the understanding by the recipient of it as intended to be applied to the defendant. 6, special harm resulting to the plaintiff from its publication. 7, abuse of a conditionally privileged occasion. The defendant has the burden of proving, when the issue is properly raised, 1, the truth of the defamatory communication. 2, the privileged character of the occasion on which it was published. 3, the character of the subject matter of defamatory comment as of public concern. So the defendant has to prove that the truth, it was true, the privileged character of the occasion on which it was published, and that they have the privilege to publish it, basically, and the character of the subject matter of the defamatory comment as of public concern. Was this a public concern issue? The USPA further provides that in all civil actions for libel, no damages shall be recovered unless it is established to the satisfaction of the jury under the direction of the court in other cases that the publication has been maliciously or negligently made.
But wait till it get hard. She gonna be like, damn, shit, my God.
You made me think, so you're not all bad. You're stick, devil's advocate, or weenie in between. I guess. I don't know what that means. Thank you for the donation. Maybe I didn't read it all. I don't know. Hold on, let me go back. You make me think, so you're not all bad. Your shtick equals devil's advocate or weenie in between. Sure. Thanks for the donation. That the publication, unless it is established to the satisfaction of the jury under the direction of the court, as in other cases, that the publication has been maliciously or negligently made, but where malice or negligence appears, such damages may be awarded as the jury shall deem proper. Godlewski agrees that in this case, he may not recover upon a mere showing of negligence on the part of the defendant. So he's got to do more than just show they were negligent. Rather, Godlewski as a public figure must demonstrate actual malice on the part of the defendants. That's part of the argument, right? Godlewski will explore each of the USPA factors, followed by a discussion of the concept of malice. Plaintiff's burden of proof, defamatory character of the communication. The Superior Court has found that a communication is defamatory if it tends to harm the reputation of another, as to lower him in the estimation of the community, or to deter third persons from dealing with him. Additionally, a communication is also defamatory if it ascribes to another conduct, character, or a condition that would adversely affect his fitness for the proper conduct of business, trade, or profession. So basically, this is what defamation is. Finally, it is the court, this is the definition of a defamatory communication. Finally, it is of the court to determine whether the statement at issue is capable of defamatory meaning. In this matter, the parties agree that the relevant communication is the February 14, 2021 column written by Chris Kelly and published in the Times Tribune. See Defendant's Exhibit 1. In Godlewski's complaint, Godlewski alleges that the column defames Godlewski's character by A, asserting that Godlewski admitted to have a sexual relationship with a minor and that Godlewski pled guilty to an offense involving that sexual relationship, and B, impugning Godlewski's fitness as a realtor, and C, associating Godlewski with the January 6th insurrection of the Capitol. Alleged sexual relationship. With respect to the alleged sexual relationship, the column contains the following language. Here's proof. In the normal course of reporting in this column, I stumbled upon some legal troubles in Godlewski's recent past. In 2011, the former Riverside High School baseball coach pleaded guilty to corruption of minors and admitted to having a sexual relationship with a 16-year-old girl. Lackawanna County detectives said Godlewski had sex with a girl in cars and homes he had access to as a real estate agent. Godlewski, 28 at the time, was sentenced to 3 to 28 months, with the first 3 months to be served under house arrest, the balance as probation. Sorry. I had to answer a message. Impugning. Defendant's Exhibit 1. This text message is an unambiguous accusation of criminal sexual activity. This text, I don't know why I said message. This text is an unambiguous accusation of criminal sexual activity with a minor. In defendant's brief, they make no argument that this text is not capable of defamatory meaning, as the accusation of criminal sexual conduct would unquestionably lower one's reputation in the community. Godlewski has met his burden with respect to this prong. So basically he's saying, like, claiming you had sex with a minor, it would be absolutely defamatory, if not true. But this is absolutely defamatory. It would affect me in the community. It would affect my business. It would affect everything. Fitness as a realtor. The column leads with the following cartoon: rabbit holes for sale, unreal top. The headline reads, QAnon realtor has a deal for gullible. The article then asserts one of the QAnon movement's most devoted dead-enders is a Clark Summit-based realtor, and Phil Godlewski, who lives in Duria, but sells homes under the name of a national real estate franchise. Chris Kelly testified that the cartoon points out that Godlewski is a realtor in conjunction with Q beliefs. This information about Godlewski's profession was included, even though Time Tribune executive editor Larry Holeva testified that Holeva saw no connection between Godlewski's political beliefs and Godlewski's fitness as a realtor. Holeva testified that unreal means not believable. Holeva testified that it would not be unreasonable to think that the cartoon suggested Godlewski was not an honest realtor. I think that's kind of a stretch, right? Rabbit holes for sale, unreal top, because I think the unreal is about him selling rabbit holes online, and the joke is that it's a real estate sign, right? I think that's a stretch. Combined, these factors indicate that Godlewski has proffered sufficient evidence to conclude that the illustration, together with the text of the article, suggests that Godlewski is not fit to conduct business as a realtor. Defendants themselves have not argued in their brief that these representations are not defamatory in nature. According to the court, accordingly, the court should find that the cartoon and related texts are capable of defamatory meaning. Unreal that he's a power top. Affiliation with Gen 6 insurrection. Defendants argue that Kelly's prose concerning Godlewski role in January 6th insurrection and the QAnon movement is not actionable, as it contains statements of Kelly's opinion. However, defendants point out, statement in the form of an opinion is actionable only if it may reasonably be understood to imply the existence of undisclosed defamatory facts justifying the opinion. So the only way an opinion would be actionable is if it's reasonably understood by the reader, like, oh, he's implying that there's something more here that we need to go look up ourselves that he can't say. A simple expression of opinion based on disclosed facts is itself not sufficient of an action of defamation. Godlewski would demonstrate the actionable nature of Kelly's column as it makes numerous assertions of fact or implies the existence of undisclosed facts. The column refers to Godlewski as a purveyor of poison that had curdled the hearts and minds of millions who may never recover. The column then immediately moves to discuss the January 6th insurrection, stating, the Capitol riot is empirical evidence that we ignore at our peril. Despite the demolition of its so-called prophecies, the Q movement marches on. Godlewski happily calls out the cadence. Now, I don't think this means he's literally calling out the cadence while people are marching down the road. It's basically like Q's still marching on, and he's still spreading these stories, even though every prediction's been wrong, right? Despite admitting that Godlewski was not present at the Capitol on January 6th, the column goes on to link Godlewski with the event by mentioning Godlewski's post to Facebook that day. The column also asserts that Godlewski's lies have consequences beyond his immediate family. Millions of Americans have lost parents, grandparents, siblings, children, and friends to the QAnon cult. They watched in helpless horror as their loved ones were led down rabbit holes from which they may never return. Godlewski bears some responsibility for that. Haleva testified that whether Godlewski beats the cadence of the Q movement is a matter of fact rather than opinion. These facts can be found through witnesses, literature, and documents, all of which must be reviewed by ethical standards. Kelly reluctantly conceded that he may have been trying to convey that Godlewski had moral responsibility for the Capitol riot. Kelly asserted in his testimony that Godlewski was part of the movement that made the Capitol riot happen. That's true. This implies factual knowledge of causal connections between Godlewski's public statements and the insurrection. Through their testimony, defendants have conceded that the statements in the column concerning Godlewski's alleged involvement in fomenting an insurrection imply supporting facts which are not disclosed. In the course of the article, Kelly alternately asserts that thousands or millions of Americans have been harmed by Godlewski. I don't think that's what it says. It said thousands or maybe millions of people have lost family members. This is a factual assertion, and it implies that Kelly had factual data which he did not disclose to back up Kelly's assertions. While Kelly testified that Godlewski was one of the main pushers, Kelly was forced to concede he, in fact, had no metric to back up his assertions, and that Kelly only spoke on condition of anonymity with one person whose marriage broke up over Godlewski's activities. The clear implication of the article is that Godlewski harmed countless people and that Kelly has factual proof. None of the factual proof is disclosed because it simply does not exist. According to Kelly's statements, associated with Godlewski with an insurrection and the destruction of countless lives are capable of defamatory meaning and are actionable. I don't know if that's true, right? Like saying that thousands or millions of people have lost family members that may never return. I don't think he said that Phil did that. I think he said that Phil's part of that machine that did that. Sure. Unreal Tour. Okay. This is no genuine dispute of material fact. This publication by defendant. There is no genuine dispute of material fact that the defendants published the post. Defendant Exhibit 1 indicates that the column written by Chris Kelly was published on Sunday, February 14, 2021 in the Times Tribune. Defendants Example 1 or Exhibit 1. Application to plaintiff. There's no genuine dispute of the material fact that the column applied to Godlewski as Godlewski's name throughout. If corroboration is required, Kelly testified that QAnon realtor who sells rabbit holes is Godlewski. The Q realtor illustration refers to Godlewski. The phrase Clark's Summit-based realtor and dead ender refers to Godlewski. Understanding by recipient of defamatory meaning. The Superior Court has held that when determining whether a communication is defamatory, the court will consider what effect the statement would have on the minds of the average person among whom the statement would likely circulate. The words must be given by judges and juries the same significance that people are likely to attribute to them. There is no genuine dispute of the material fact that the recipients understood or could understand the content of the column to be defamatory, as the content accuses Godlewski of having illicit sex with a minor, implies his unfitness to be a realtor, and asserts that Godlewski bears responsibility for the January 6th insurrection and has ruined the lives of countless people. Understanding by recipient of communication applied to plaintiff. There's no genuine dispute of the material fact that the recipients understood or would have reasonably been expected to understand the post to be applied to Godlewski for the reasons set forth in Factor 3. 6. Special harm to the plaintiff. Under Pennsylvania law, the term special harm, as used in the statute, has been interpreted to mean general damages which are proven upon a showing of actual harm. Actual harm includes impairment of reputation and standing in the community, personal humiliation and mental anguish and suffering. Further, as used in Section 569 of the restatement of the special harm, that a liable plaintiff need not show is actually special damages. Special damages are economic harm, and pecuniary loss, I guess. Under this rubric, in order to satisfy the special harm element of the defamation claim, a liable plaintiff need only show actual harm to establish general damages. A liable plaintiff need not show special damages to satisfy the statutory burden of proving special harm. In the present case, Godlewski is able to testify to the humiliation and suffering he has endured. Assuming, arguendo, that the court declines to find special harm, Godlewski may proceed upon a theory of defamation per se. Pennsylvania recognizes the following 4 categories of defamation per se: words imputing, criminal offense, loathsome disease, business misconduct, serious sexual misconduct. Restatement torts. Whether the words allegedly used by the defendant were defamatory per se is a question for the court. In this matter, Godlewski has suffered defamation per se in 3 respects. The column imputes criminal conduct to Godlewski, together with serious sexual misconduct. The column also asserts Godlewski's unfitness to be a realtor. In the column, Kelly writes, in 2011, the former Riverside High School baseball coach pleaded, this is imputation of criminal activity. In the column, Kelly writes, in 2011, the former Riverside High School baseball coach pleaded guilty to the corruption of minors and admitted to having a sexual relationship with a 15-year-old girl. This passage directly accuses Godlewski of committing a sex crime against a minor. Further, by identifying Godlewski as a high school baseball coach, the column suggests that Godlewski's alleged sexual misconduct is of a serious nature by implying the abuse of a position of trust with minors. I think that's true, though. Like, if you are a baseball coach, whether you coach them or not, if you're anything at the school, like that implies a position of trust, right? Imputation of business misconduct. Pennsylvania has followed the second restatement of torts by adopting the standard: one who publishes a slander that ascribes to another conduct, characteristics, or conditions that would adversely affect his fitness for the proper conduct of his lawful business, trade, or profession, or of his public or private office, is subject to liability without proof of special harm. Further, a statement may be defamatory per se, although it does not explicitly charge the subject with failure of business or professional performance, wherein an accusation of opening company mail was held capable of being understood both as an accusation of criminal activity and unfitness for business. In the instant case, the column makes numerous references to Godlewski's status as a realtor. Chris Kelly testified that the cartoon points out that Godlewski is a realtor in conjunction with Q beliefs. The information about Godlewski's profession was included, even though Times Tribune executive editor Larry Holeva testified that Holeva saw no connection between Godlewski's political beliefs and Godlewski's fitness as a realtor. Holeva testified that unreal means not believable. Holeva further testified that it would not be unreasonable to think that the cartoon suggested that Godlewski was not an honest realtor. Is this why they released Holeva from the case? Defendants have not asserted any conditional privileges. Rather, this is conditional privilege occasion. Defendants have not asserted any conditional privileges. Rather, defendants have asserted qualified privileges, which will be discussed infra. The defendant's burden of proof. Pursuant to USPA, the defendant has a burden of proving when the issue is properly raised: the truth of the defamatory statement, the privileged character of the occasion on which it was published, the character of the subject matter of defamatory comment as of public concern. 1. Truth of defamatory communication. In axiomatic, it is axiomatic that a defendant may avoid liability for defamation if it shows that the statements were substantially true. However, a defamatory statement must be viewed in context. Additionally, a defendant cannot use truth as a defense where the implication of the communication as a whole was false, even if the statement is literally accurate. So you can't imply something else is going on, even if this statement is true, right? It is not disputed if a statement in question bears on matter of public concern or the defendant is a member of the media. First Amendment concerns compel the plaintiff to prove an additional element that the alleged defamatory statement is in fact false. It is not disputed that if the statement in question bears on a matter of public concern or the defendant is a member of the media, First Amendment concerns compel the plaintiff, Godlewski, to prove as an additional element that the alleged defamatory statement is in fact false. However, defendants ask this court to demand that Godlewski meet this burden by clear and convincing evidence. The defendants do not cite a single case from the court of Pennsylvania or the Third Circuit which supports their request. Rather, defendants concede that the Supreme Court has declined to express a view on this required standard of proof. Okay, so he's saying, yeah, I do have to prove that it's false, but they want clear and convincing evidence, and we don't agree to that. Defendants refer to Lewis as controlling authority in this matter, though the Lewis court did not impose a heightened burden of proof on a public figure plaintiff where the falsehood of the defamatory statements is concerned. So basically, they're arguing that they don't need clear and convincing evidence. They just need basically like reasonable doubt. Similarly, none of Lewis's progeny suggests that a heightened burden is required. See all these cases. Given the strong weight of the authority against defendant's argument, the court should decline to expand the law and apply the preponderance of evidence standard to Godlewski's burden of proving falsehood. Defendants go to great lengths in their belief to attempt to establish that Godlewski has, in their opinion, lied about various matters. Defendants point out a lengthy laundry list of affidavits, letters, and other documents, responses to discovery requests, and deposition testimony, which they assert constitute the basis for summary judgment, not because they are uncontradicted by counter evidence or testimony, but rather because they show Godlewski has been dishonest. Yeah. This is not a new narrative for the defendants, as it's the same one they offered at the February 6, 2023. In response, this court wrote, "The unmistakable truth is that the credibility of the plaintiff or any party is not within the domain of this court at the discovery phase." We're past the discovery phase, though. The same is true at summary judgment. The Superior Court has long held credibility is a matter for the jury, as the weight to be accorded to particular pieces of evidence, explaining that credibility determinations are within the sole province of the jury, which is entitled to believe all, part, or none of the evidence presented. Moreover, credibility of evidence is not a proper consideration at the summary judgment stage because the trial court may not summarily enter judgment when the evidence depends on oral testimony. True, like Phil's testimony, for the most part, should be up to the jury. But Phil fucking with the court, not supporting or not doing the interrogatories, not participating in his own case, making all these crazy claims on Telegram, behind the scenes, fucking with the discovery phase is 100% part of the judge. If you don't want to participate in the court or you want to make a mockery of the court, the judge 100% can fucking side with that. To attempt to establish an illicit sexual relationship between Godlewski and Bree, defendants rely upon the oral testimony of persons such as Bree, a friend named Sierra O'Malley, who claims to have knowledge of the party's sexual activity, as well as items such as a letter from the principal of the high school where Godlewski worked, an affidavit from Bree, Linda, and even one submitted in conjunction with a search warrant over a decade ago, and the affidavit of probable cause in the criminal prosecution. As excludable hearsay under a PARE 801 and 802, each and every one of these statements submitted as affidavits will require the actual testimony of the affiant at the time of trial. During the sanctions hearing held by the court in 2023, Godlewski offered his oral testimony that his sexual relationship with Bree began after Bree was an adult. See transcript experts attached as Exhibit 3. As there is a direct conflict of oral testimony, there is no genuine issue of material fact in which must be submitted to a jury. So he's claiming they did have a sexual relationship, but it was later. They're claiming they did have a sexual relationship, but it was earlier. So they're saying it has to go to a jury. In their attempts to support the truth of the allegation Godlewski engaged in an illicit sexual relationship with Bree, defendants problematically rely on a set of alleged text messages. Okay, here we go. Exchanged between Bree and Godlewski at the time of the alleged illicit sexual encounter. However, defendants cannot, at least at this stage, authenticate those text messages. Wait a second. At this stage, defendants propose as com v. or as controlling authority, and or the Commonwealth offered the testimony of Officer Daniel Lentz, who extracted data from the defendant's cell phone. This testimony, together with circumstantial testimony of other witnesses, was found sufficient to authenticate text messages retrieved by Lentz. In this instant case, defendants propose that the court consider a purported extraction report in tabular form. Defendants attempt to authenticate the text messages through the affidavit of former ADA Patricia Lafferty. Defendants Exhibit 15. In her affidavit, Lafferty indicates that the report attached as Exhibit B is the result of forensic analysis by the Pennsylvania State Police. This statement fails to authenticate the text message or make them admissible as evidence for both legal and factual reasons. The Pennsylvania Rules of Evidence suggest that either direct evidence, such as the testimony of a person with personal knowledge or various sorts of circumstantial evidence, must be adduced in order to connect digital evidence with a person. In this case, Lafferty does not claim in her affidavit that she had any direct knowledge of the means used to analyze Bree's phones, and Lafferty does not assert that she produced the tabular report. So they're going to have to look up the cop that pulled the report. Tabular report of the text messages. Additionally, the affidavit does not address any circumstantial factors which point to Godlewski's ownership, possession, control, or access to the device which allegedly sent the messages at the time they were transmitted. Even if Lafferty's affidavit did assert these things, Lafferty would still be required to testify concerning these matters so that Lafferty's credibility could be gauged by the jury. Thus, as a matter of law, defendants have failed at this stage to authenticate the text messages. I thought you had all this evidence that proved they were fake, right? Factually, the record is replete with documents which question the authenticity of the text messages. First, despite the fact that defendants assert that the messages are the result of extraction from Bree's cell phone, the tabular report indicates Phil Gadlowski's cell phone. There is no explanation for this discrepancy. Second, the documentary record establishes that whoever generated the report, it was not the PSPS claimed by defendants and Lafferty. Corporal Derek Fozard of the PSP generated a general investigation report, GIR, with respect to his forensic examination of various electronic items. See relevant portion of GIR attached to Exhibit 4, ST 2906. Fozard writes that these conversations could not be exported using the Celebrite program hardware. This is further documented by Fozard on cell phone forensic analysis worksheet for Bree's iPhone, where it states, Celebrite cable 110 for accessing phone not recognized by Celebrite, and shows that no items were checked as data extracted. That is true. We brought that up when Phil put it in his movie. There should have been something checked there under data extracted. Whether you like Phil or not, there should have been text, video, phone call. Something should have been checked in that second box. The same documents referencing Bree's Pantech phone states Celebrite cable NA for accessing phone, and shows that no items were checked as data extracted. After failing to download the data from the phones, Fozard asserts that he performed a scroll analysis. Fozard explains that during this scroll analysis, I used a video camera to record the screen display of each phone as I displayed the text on the screen of these devices. So Phil was right, I guess, that they weren't able to pull them just to the cable. Even though, what's his name? Cliff High was like, that's not what it means. I worked in this. I don't believe a goddamn thing Cliff High says. Never have. But it seems like if this report's true, that's true, because the guy ended up, because the Celebrite data wouldn't pull it through the data cable, he ended up having to record it while scrolling through the phone. It says, during the scroll analysis, I used a video camera to record the screen display of each phone as I displayed the text on the screen of these devices. I then saved the video files to a DVD, one for each phone, to be driven to the case officers for review at a later time. In this statement, Fozard indicates that the product of examination of these phones consists of video files on a DVD. Damn, if they had those. Well, one was a phone and one wasn't. Or he said something about a phone. Bree's iPhone, where it states Celebrite cable 110 not accessed to the phone. Apparently there's another phone that was also done, a Pantech phone. There's two different ones. Fozard does not claim to have compiled any tabular list of the alleged text messages. As a result, Phil's trying to get away with this because of bad evidence documenting, right? Basically, like, he never wrote down that he made this spreadsheet. He just said he made the video. So if he didn't say he made the spreadsheet, who made the spreadsheet? We may never know. And that might be lost to time. You know what I'm saying? That might be lost to time. It's been so fucking long. I hope not. I hope these DVDs exist. FED-uardo does not claim he have compiled any tabular list of the alleged text messages. As a result, there is absolutely no evidence to indicate who prepared the document containing the alleged text messages or the methods used. I did say that when we pulled up the text messages, like, why isn't there someone's name on this or a signature or nothing? Like, that's weird. And I didn't put much weight into his name's misspelled at the top, but I wish it had said like officer such and such, review on this day, blah, blah, blah. It doesn't seem to be there. Who prepared the document containing the alleged text message or the methods used? It seems like someone probably watched the DVD and transcribed that to text, but they could have done a better job with like a cover sheet or some shit, right? Or something. It is only certain that FED-uardo, this is a super tech. I don't know if this will work in court. This is a super technicality but sometimes cases are won on technicalities. Sometimes cases are lost on technicalities. We'll see. It is only certain that FED-uardo did not do so, as he could not electronically extract data and generated only a video of him manually scrolling through the phones. There is not even an indication whether the alleged text messages came from the iPhone, the Pantech phone, or both. Accordingly, there is a complete legal and factual failure to authenticate the alleged text messages, and the court should find that their authenticity and admissibility is a question to be deferred to trial, where the court and the jury may hear the testimony and make appropriate determinations. Damn it. Initialed it or something? Yeah, date, time, something. They should have put something on it. As has been noted by both the defendants and Galewski has repeatedly testified that he denies having any illicit sexual relationship with Bree. As a jury is free to believe some, all, or none of a witness's testimony, and to accord that testimony whatever weight the jury chooses. Galewski's testimony alone, if believed, is sufficient to create a genuine issue of material fact. That said, Galewski point to documentary evidence that Kelly's assertion that Galewski admitted to having sex with a minor is false. The criminal complaint in the underlying case contained the following allegation with respect to a count of corruption of minors. In that, on or about January 2008 to present, the defendant, Philip Galewski, being 18 years of age and upwards, did corrupt or tend to corrupt the morals of the victim, Bree, a minor at the age of 18 years, by engaging in acts of sexual intercourse or aided, abetted, by the way, that's the old law. It says by engaging in it used to include by engaging in acts of sexual intercourse or aided, abetted, enticed, or encouraged a minor in the commission of a crime, or knowingly assisted or encouraged such minor in violating his or her parole or court order in violation of section 6301A1 of the PA Crime Code M1. So my question has always been, if it wasn't the sexual intercourse, did you aid, abet, or entice or encourage her to commit a crime? Did you knowingly assist or encourage her to violate her parole or court order she didn't have? It's either the sex or you got her to commit a crime, one of the two, and you've never admitted to the crime part of it. The language contains an explicit allegation that Galewski engaged in sexual intercourse with a minor. However, the information removes the accusation of sexual intercourse and reads, however, the information removes. What do you mean the information removes? This says, unlawfully being of the age of 18 years and upwards, corrupt or tend to corrupt the morals of a less than 18 years of age, and or did aid, abet, entice, or encourage any such minor in the commission of a crime, or did knowingly assist or encourage such minor in violating his or her parole or any court, to wit, the defendant did repeatedly have inappropriate text messages and contact with Bree. Now, everybody thinks heavily that contact is physical contact, but Phil's argument since the start of this is that contact is phone calls. But again, inappropriate text messages. First of all, that inappropriate text messages is not you counseling someone. It's not you counseling someone because their boyfriend died. Inappropriate text messages, we all know what inappropriate text messages mean. What are you claiming they are? What was the inappropriate part of those text messages if this is your new statement? And second, what was the inappropriate context? Additionally, Godlewski's guilty plea colloquy contains the following paragraphs. The elements of the crime charged as follows. Being of the age of 18 or older may act corrupt of mind. They read this, but I never can. Act or tend to corrupt the morals of minors. Corrupt the morals of the minors. Tend to corrupt the morals of minors. Did corrupt or tend to corrupt the morals of minors. Do you understand these charged elements? Yes. In their deposition testimony, defendants concede that the information supersedes the criminal complaint. Defendants admit that the information contains no allegation that Godlewski engaged in sexual activity with a minor. Defendants agree that the guilty plea colloquy contains neither any factual that Godlewski had sex with a minor. That's a hell of a typo. Any factual information, maybe, that Godlewski had sex with a minor, or any admission that Godlewski did so. Larry Holeva candidly testified that one cannot conclude from the court documents that Godlewski admitted to having sex with a minor. Given the documentary evidence combined with the testimonial admission of the defendants, a jury could reasonably conclude that the allegations contained in the column were false. Accordingly, the motion for summary judgment must be denied and the case listed for trial. The privileged character of the occasion of the publication. I think that's a pretty big stretch there, but I think he's going to try to play this out on technicalities, like why is my name misspelled is going to be one of them. Who wrote this? Where did it come from? Why isn't there a signature? Where is the chain of custody? Right? This guy said he recorded something, but we don't have the recording. We have this shit typed out. Who typed it? We don't know. Could have been anybody. Does it match the videos? We don't know because we haven't seen the videos, right? He's going to try to play all of this on a technicality. All of this. Witnesses assert that certain statements in the column regarding the criminal prosecution are protected under the fair report privilege. It is well established that a newspaper possesses a qualified privilege to make fair and accurate report of the proceedings, and if the article is not published solely for the purpose of causing harm to the person defamed, no responsibility attaches, even though the contents of the article are false or defamatory. So they have even other protections because they're a newspaper, right? Because they're a newspaper, as long as they feel like they're doing their best to make a fair and accurate reporting, even if they weren't there, just looking at the paperwork of like what happened at like a town hall meeting or whatever, they're excluded from any damages as long as they're trying, and it's not just a defamatory statement. As long as they're trying, even if some of the content of the article is false or defamatory, as long as that wasn't their goal, then they're fine. However, qualified privilege is one that can be lost by abuse, such as overly embellishing an account of a proceeding. The account must be fair, accurate, and complete. In the case sub judice, the Times Tribune account was neither fair nor accurate nor complete. As discussed above, Kelly's comment entirely failed to set forth the actual charge to which Godlewski pled, the indication of the underlying facts contained in the information, or the fact that, I don't know why they keep calling this the information. There's a name for that stuff. Like, it's not the information. I know Phil likes to say, you have charges, then court, then the information. Or there's got to be a better name than the information. Or the fact that Godlewski's guilty plea colloquy contains no indication whatsoever of admitting to having sex with a minor. In light of these omissions, defendants abuse their qualified privilege. Now, I think that's probably a stretch as well. The judge can rule on it, but that's probably a stretch. They tried their best. He spoke to people on the inside. He spoke to confidential informants close to the case. He reviewed a previous article. He spoke to someone that was friends with Bree. Like, I think he went well above and beyond trying to be fair and accurate. He even tried to speak to Phil, but Phil didn't have nothing to say to him. Phil could have said, hey, here's the issues with this case. Here's what's going on. Here's everything. blah, blah, blah. But Phil didn't want to talk to him. Subject matter of communication has public concern. The parties have agreed that for the purpose of this lawsuit, Godlewski is a public figure and the matter is discussed in the column of public concern. Issues of malice. Defendants contend that Godlewski cannot demonstrate actual malice and is thus barred from recovery. Additionally, defendants assert that even if found liable, Godlewski cannot recover punitive damages for failure to show common law malice. Godlewski will address each of these points in turn. Actual malice. It is well cited that a public figure or official or figure must prove that the statement was made with actual malice. That is, the knowledge that it was false or with reckless disregard, whether it was false or not. So, actual malice is I knew it was false or I just didn't give a fuck whether it was true or false. Actual malice must be proven with clear and convincing evidence. Such proof must be established that the defendant realized that the statement was false or subjectively entertained serious doubts as to the truth of the statement. The term reckless disregard is not amenable to one infallible definition. It is a term which is understood by considering a variety of factors in the context of an actual case. Such factors may include A, whether the author published a statement in the face of verifiable denials and without further investigation or corroboration, where allegations were clearly serious enough to warrant some attempt to substantiation. I don't think you're going to get, like, here's all the rulings that say it was either this or this, and you're going to be like, well, that word, reckless disregard, doesn't actually mean that. It can mean this. Evidence of unexplained distortion or the absence of any factual basis to support an accusation. Clear departures from acceptable journalistic procedures, including lack of adequate pre-publication procedures, the use of a wholly speculative accusation and accusatory inferences, and the failure to utilize or employ effective editorial review. In the case of Barr, defendants deviated from acceptable journalistic standards to a degree which constitutes reckless conduct. In his deposition testimony, executive editor Holeva testified that the columns have more latitude than news articles to reflect opinion. However, the opinions need to be based in facts. The same research must be done for a news article or an opinion column. Further, journalists must base their reporting on accurately obtaining information from multiple sources, interview, or documents. Reporters have an ethical standard to pursue information to the best of their ability to get a complete story. In the context of reporting on a criminal case, every reporter should examine the criminal complaint, information, and the guilty plea colloquy. It is known that an information supersedes a criminal complaint as a charging document. There's got to be a better name for this. Surely the state of Pennsylvania doesn't have the complaint, information, and guilty plea colloquy. Like, that's got to be it. What are they trying to say here? What are they trying? What word are they trying to come up with? Even here, when it says it is known that an information supersedes a criminal complaint, there's got to be a better. I'm not crazy here, right? Like that, an information. That's what we're going to call it. Something else has got to be. It's got to be called something else. Further, reporters pick up this knowledge quickly, and a veteran reporter should know it. It is consistent with journalists' ethical responsibility to review all of the documents listed in a criminal case. In the context of this case, Holeva testified that Holeva would have expected Kelly to speak to the county detective, review paperwork available, read the history of the case, and check electronic archives. Additionally, Kelly should have looked at law enforcement investigative files. Kelly should have looked at court files in addition to independent interviews and any type of investigative work. He's not an investigative journalist. He writes opinion pieces, by the way. Kelly had an ethical obligation to review the criminal complaint. Kelly reviewed that document. Kelly had an ethical obligation to review the information. What do you mean the information? This is so fucking confusing. Kelly did not review the information. There's got to be another word for this. Information, like the evidence of the case, or the stipulations in the case, or the other documents in the case, or the remaining the documents other than the charging document, or the documents as the case prolonged before the case wrapped up, or there's something other than information. I don't know why they keep calling it that. If the state of Pennsylvania is retarded, if they're like, okay, here's a copy of the criminal complaint, here's a copy of an information, and here's a copy of that's retarded. Kelly did not review the information. Kelly had an ethical obligation to review the guilty plea colloquy. Kelly examined the colloquy. These documents had the relevant differences, have been discussed at pages 22 and 23 supra. Haleva admitted that one cannot conclude from this document that God Lucy pled or admitted to having sex with a minor. But what about the previous story that you never disputed? You never disputed the 2010 story, right? That came out that said you admitted to having sex with a minor. Kelly admits that there's no indication in the common pleas documents that God Lucy pled to or admitted to having sex with a minor, despite knowing that the guilty plea colloquy contained no admission that God Lucy had sex with a minor. Well, that's not true. I mean, when they say contact, you could be like, oh, that he could say, I thought that contact was sexual contact, right? Kelly did not think he should look further. Further, Kelly testified that he wasn't even certain whether the language in the information was a result of something that God Lucy pled to. Per Haleva, failure to do investigative work beyond review of the criminal complaint, information, and guilty plea colloquy prior to publishing that God Lucy had sex with a minor would be a breach of Kelly's ethical obligation to pursue information to the best of Kelly's ability. Damn, Haleva. Kelly was well aware from his text discussions with God Lucy that God Lucy denied having had sex with Bree while she was a minor, and that he denied pleading guilty to doing so. Despite that fact, Kelly had, in the form of the guilty plea colloquy, corroborative evidence of God Lucy's denial. Kelly elected to publish his own preconceived notions concerning the criminal case without taking the simple step of actually consulting all relevant. I don't even think it's his preconceived notions. There was a former fucking story in the newspaper that said that much. That was literally the title of the former news story. That's weird. Further, Kelly wrote, my editor and I discussed whether to include the information which is public and was previously published in the Times Tribune. From this statement, as well as the totality of circumstances outlined, a reasonable jury could conclude that the defendants acted recklessly and with serious doubts as to the veracity of their allegations against God Lucy. Accordingly, the motion for summary judgment must be denied. I don't know if he fully made that claim, but we'll see. The judge will have to decide on it. Common law malice. Defendants assert that in order for God Lucy to recover punitive damage, God Lucy must make a showing of malice, of malicious, reckless, willful, or oppressive conduct. God Lucy suggests that the course of conduct established in this argument on actual malice provides the basis from which a jury might conclude the defendant's publication of its allegations regarding sexual activity was at least reckless and willful, if not malicious. To those facts may be added Kelly's publication of allegations that God Lucy ruined the lives of thousands or millions without any evidence to support those assertions. Kelly's malice is made further apparent by Kelly's fixation on God Lucy's occupation as a realtor. I don't think it's fixation. He just said you're a realtor. In fact, every illustration considered for placement with a column referred to God Lucy's occupation. This was done despite the fact that Kelly admits that nothing about espousal of Q beliefs affects God Lucy's fitness as a realtor. A jury may well conclude that the article was a malicious attempt to destroy God Lucy's career using facts unrelated to it. For these reasons, the motion for summary judgment must be denied. That's a stretch. That's a quick stretch, but I think that's a stretch. 2, the court should deny defendant's motion for summary judgment with respect to plaintiff God Lucy's cause of action sounding in false light, invasion of privacy. The tort of false light, invasion of privacy imposes liability on a person who publishes material that is not true, is highly offensive to a reasonable person, and is publicized with knowledge or in reckless disregard for its falsity. The Eastern District of Pennsylvania has noted that Pennsylvania courts consistently apply the same analysis to defamation and false light claims when the causes of action are based on the same set of underlying facts. For the reasons articulated in the analysis of the defamation claims, defendant's motion for summary judgment must be denied with respect to the false light, invasion of privacy claims. 3, whether the court, wait, what? For the reasons articulated in analysis of the defamation claim. Oh, so they're basically just like, for what we said in part 1, you have to deny it because part 2, it's the same, basically. 3, whether the court should deny defendant's motion for summary judgment with respect to plaintiff Godlewski's causes of action sounding in intentional interference with existing or prospective contractual relations. Phil loves to talk about interference with contractual relations. He was talking about it earlier yesterday or earlier today, I can't remember, when they were talking about the SEC stuff. Given the circumstances and state of evidence surrounding the case, Godlewski is not seeking relief under these causes of action. Okay, well, that was short and sweet, wasn't it? Given the circumstances and state of evidence surrounding the case, Godlewski is not seeking relief under these causes of action. So 3's gone. 3's going to get a summary judgment no matter what. He's not even defending it. For the foregoing reason, plaintiff Godlewski respectfully requests that the honorable court deny the defendant's motion for summary judgment with respect to Godlewski's course of action sounding in defamation and false light invasion of privacy. Oh, this is court of action in defamation and false light invasion. So they're dropping the 3rd one. So that one's going to get dismissed no matter what. Let's see. What is this? Index to witness. So this is the deposition of Larry Holeva. We haven't read this. I'll have to put this on a different video. We haven't read Holeva's defamation or deposition, have we? I don't think. We'll have to put that on a separate video. Sounds like Holeva did not do Chris Kelly any favors, and then they dropped his ass. That'll be a separate video because it's going to be like 50 pages long. Well, maybe not that long. Let's see. It's 14 pages maybe for that one. And allegation. And, oh, this is an appendix to it, I guess. Articles, all the words that are in it. Right, that would be an appendix, right? Something like that. And timestamps. Yeah, we'll read Holeva's. They released Holeva from the case, so I'm wondering if he did kind of throw Chris Kelly under the bus a little bit. Procedure time, 4,000 deposition discovery when testimonies. Okay, this is just legal documents about the law, literally about the law. Here's some stuff we do need to read later on. Affidavit of Linda marked as ST. Attachment here too. I want to see that guy's menorah. And I want to point your attention to number 7. Okay, number 7 says, do you have sexual relationship free? I think that should be brought up too. I don't know if this is for the jury to talk about or the judge. But remember, he said he never, at first he was saying he never had sex with Bree. Then suddenly it was like, oh, I did, but it was 2015 or 2013 or whatever. Or like 2013 when you're still on probation for this, and she's no, it was I want to correct that if I can. It was exactly 2015. I remember because a brand new KFC opened up near my house, or whatever the fuck. I opened my real estate agency at the same time. Oh, okay. This I want to read later on, but it's already 1:30 here. That is his filing. We will read the attachments and stuff tomorrow. I won't put it on a Patreon behind the paywall. Larry Holeva is the editor-in-chief at the Scranton Times. I won't put it behind a paywall. We'll read these later on and Holeva's testimony tomorrow. Thank you guys for joining us. I appreciate it. It's 1:30 here. Thank you for the donations and support as they came in. Thank you for supporting us. I really appreciate it. Consider supporting the Micro Preemie. Super excited. Every day that goes by, it seems like it's more real, and it's like they're getting further. So I'm super excited about baby coming home soon with Nick and them. I want to go over there and see it again here in the next couple of days. Also, don't do anything that Larry Holeva would do because it don't seem good so far. We'll go check it out. Thank you guys for joining us. Donation, support the stream while we're offline. That would be great. This is how I continue to do these shows. Whether you want to join Patreon, make a financial contribution, whatever. I can't do the shows without making any money. I'm not trying to become a millionaire, but I at least got to pay the bills around the office, the light bill, the internet, shit like that. Thank you. If you can support us, that'd be great. If not, I understand. Everybody have a good night, and we will see you on the next one. Also, No supporting Rumble. No supporting Trump. No supporting Trump Jr. No supporting Dr. Z. No supporting Phil. No supporting Scott McKay. No supporting Nino. No supporting any big creator that's ever shared a gold company or a silver company for IRAs. They're donezo, according to the all-male review team leader. Good night, guys. I didn't vape, if that's what you were wondering. If you're wondering what was different, I didn't vape. I got some Zen, baby. Hit my Zally up.
You better buckle up, cause you ain't seen none yet. And they say that I'm a lunatic. Well, listen, bitch, I came equipped with a quick wit and a 6th sense for the stupid shit. Where my true believer? Y'all need Jesus. Praise the Lord.
I accidentally hit it once by accident, and I did pick it up a couple times. But yeah, I didn't vape. I got some of those Zen pouches. My nephew uses them. He quit vaping, so I thought about at least using it during the show. But we'll see. Now I'm gonna hit it like a freight train.
What's next? Trump in a dress, fucking Flynn on his desk.
I can't believe that Cliff High, who I didn't trust to begin with, just came out and fucking lied about all the experience he has with the cell phone. And he's like, oh, that doesn't mean that. It seems like it does. If that guy's like, hey, Celebrite wouldn't record the data. So I recorded it with a video camera and scrolled through the data. Doesn't that seem like the cable wouldn't pull the data for whatever reason? He was like, oh, well, which I thought this might be the case, but he asserted it was. That just means it's never been scanned before. The fuck?
I found some of his meat rockets. I strapped him to my
That's what we guessed. But he was like, that's it. I know. I work with this stuff all the time. I'm not trusting Phil's word on that. I'm just saying, if the guy says unable to pull anything, had to use a scrolling video method or whatever and record it, then that we don't have to trust Phil. That was the state police officer that said it. Froza, whatever his name is. And it could be as simple as the guy didn't know how to work the program was glitching. It needed updated. The cables were bad. They didn't have other ones. And before in the past, they had been completely fine, accepting like if you unlock it and scroll through every message and record it and send it to like the court reporter who types it all out. That was a fine way to take it. And maybe they'd had those issues before.
We say it isn't so. Got him backed up on
Weird.
Trying to ram it down his throat. Now things are getting rocking. He was
Have a good night, Nick. Love you. Listen, I don't care how tubby you get or how much you go in gym, your roommate, or to the gym. Gym rats, filmmaker rats. I'll always love you, no matter what your complex is.
These parasites, these leeches with all their secret meetings, teaching all you fucking cretins about baby.
I like fat Nick. I like fit Nick. I like line man Nick. I like, man, this massage looks homoerotic Nick. I like wearing a bikini for whatever reason Nick.
You better buckle up, 'cause you ain't seen.
I like soft whispering, voiceover Nick. I like all the Nicks, okay? We're going to get you out of this place where you're scared to have a carb because you can see your, in your mind, you can see your breasts growing back every time you take a bite.
Where an
We'll get you out of that.
in your mother's basement, and I won't even give out your dime store handle because that's really pathetic.
Good night, guys.